It's well past time for you to be turning your great ideas into realities with Squarespace. Because Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project, whether you're showcasing your work or selling products of any kind. What are you trying to do? Do it online, you know? That's what I say. That's what all the kids are doing. They do it on the internet. And they got beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything. So you can make a beautiful website all by yourself. If you get stuck, they've got customer support there 24/7, ready to help you out. Head on over to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. When you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. This show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Being your best self feels good for your loved ones and for you. Visit betterhelp.com/bombcast and get back to being you.
Well, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Giant Bombcast. Thanks for tuning in to our little program here in our little corner of the internet. My name is Jeff Bacalar. Man, November, what's up? It's November 9th, 2021. I'm doing real well. How are you doing, Jeff Gersman?
I'm doing all right. It's weird how time works. You know?
Yep. My son just said the same thing the other day. Yep. Yeah.
How did
all
that?
Of a sudden?
Why? Why?
They just took an hour away for the hell of it. I don't know.
Well, we got
Seems
one
arbitrary.
back. We got it back.
We got one back.
Yeah, and
But
I made
hour.
the mistake. Well, I guess we all earned it in a way. I made the mistake of trying to explain that and what daylight savings time is to my 6-year-old, and it ended with him crying because he thought he was missing an hour of playing Nintendo Switch.
That's valid.
Imagine having those fake ass problems.
What were you able to get him back on track and make him realize that he in fact got an extra hour of it?
No, there was no getting there. We were too far gone. Yesterday I picked him up and it was getting dark and he was just like, "Oh, this is it. I'm ruined. I'm ruined because it's dark now, and that means the bedtime is coming sooner than I wanted to."
Yeah.
And that no more Mario and Sonic Olympics Japan 2020.
Oh, you're doing him a favor at that point, you know.
Well, look, he's very much into the soccer mode of that game. It's very bad. He doesn't realize how bad it is.
Well, you know, that's.
But he's just a kid.
Right.
You know?
They got to get that stuff embedded in them so they know what's really good down the road.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Let them learn these lessons now.
Yeah.
Before they become adults. Jason A. Striker, welcome back to the program. How are you, sir?
Oh, thank you. I'm doing great for the most part. Had a long stint in the hospital. That was no fun, but I'm back in action. Happy to be here. Happy to see you guys. Hi.
Excellent. Daniel Dwyer.
Hi. Hey, what's up?
How are you, Danny?
I good. I kept my kid up until like stupid o'clock last night to like make sure, because man, that was rough. She woke up at like, she's good. She does like a 6:30, like 7:30 most mornings. She woke up at 6, and I had some drinks the night before, and that was a bad time for everyone. But at least there's only one of them. You know, it's easy to fix that little time slot. And she's still making her way through her candy, which she got like all the candy, and she can have one piece a day. So
that's it. Oh man,
it's gonna go bad
She
first.
got 3. Is it gonna go bad? Can it go bad?
Candy never goes bad. It's just not as fresh. You can eat
it's like a Best Buy situation. Like it's Best Buy this date. It's not throw away after this date.
Yes.
Yeah, like
that feels fair.
That Snickers bar is going to be fine in 3 years. You can eat it. It'll be all right. It's not going to be that fresh out of the factory taste that we all know and love.
You're pushing it now. This 3 years nonsense. I was on board until you said 3 years, and that's just upsetting. Also, who has the like fucking personal strength to have a Snickers bar in their house for 3 years? That's like, no, that's Usain Bolt stuff. I can't do that.
Like you
what you
lose
do
it,
is you
like and then
hide
you
them.
find it. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
there's a Snickers bar here.
Yeah, but I'm
You
not
gotta-
eating
you
the
gotta
found
hide 'em.
Snickers bar because
No,
I don't know
What
if
you
I
do is-
lost that or did the previous owner of the house drop it down
Nope.
that vent
here's how
shaft?
you do it, gentlemen.
Okay.
Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. You hide
Post-it
a
notes.
dozen candy bars around the home, and you make a calendar reminder in 2 years. If you have not found all of the candy bars, you then have a little cheat sheet of where to go on a little scavenger hunt. Hopefully, no rodents or insects have gotten to them. That
Right.
really defeats
Hopefully.
the purpose of
I mean,
this
That could be a
exercise.
problem.
But that's how you do it.
And get a Sharpie and write the
That's-
date on it so you know when you hid them, so that when you find them, you know
Yeah.
how long they've been there. You know, they know they're yours and not like, oh, there was a 11th Snickers bar that was left here in 68.
This is like COVID has like ruined our brains, and this is like this type of self like entertainment we had to create because we were locked inside. It's like when your grandmother says, "We used to count the stars every night." You know, like there was nothing to do, so we just made up Snickers orienteering games.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I feel bad because Jan and Ben have been waiting patiently for us to mention their names. Mr. Dump Truck himself, Ben Pack, what's up?
Well, what's up? I just didn't want to say anything because I don't like Snickers. But
Okay, good thing you stayed silent.
even more controversial
all
than that,
coming
I have to get something off my chest here at the top of the show. Otherwise, it'd be weighing me down for the entire time. Oh boy, I don't really know how to say this other than just saying that Danny O'Dwyer tweeted out and on last week's Bombcast spoke in support of the recent Limp Bizkit album Still Sucks. I clowned on him on Twitter because it's easy, you know, to clown on people online for a few internet points here and there, and you just kind of go about your day and don't really think about what you're saying or the ramifications of your actions. Well, unfortunately, I listened to Still Sucks like 3 times in a row, and it kind of whips the llama's ass.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's
all right.
like Limp Bizkit's new album is kind of good.
It's
I am
it's
not
like
shocked
in a
as you
sick
are.
way. I feel like it's exactly what I needed right now.
Yeah,
Shit.
you know, it's
Yeah.
that weird thing because, like, you know, Fred Durst has come a long way since the '90s. He's become an acclaimed director. Like, he does a lot of stuff. He's really, yeah. People really. He's directed a lot of shit that people like really like and say like he was really good on set. Except, like, I guess that weird John Travolta movie people didn't like so much. But like he's older now, you know, he's probably in his 40s, 50s, whatever. He's had
He's
a lot of time to
51,
reflect on it. Yeah, he's in his early 50s.
Okay.
He's had a lot of time to reflect on his actions and what Limp Bizkit means to the world. And so I would say the like lyrics are a little smarter, but it still has that a little less, you know, angsty, but still kind of has that rage, but it's more pointed at like the system. You know, the first track is really telling you about how you and me need to be on the same side, man. You might think that I suck, but really we need to unite because the real shit that sucks out there sucks even more, which is a message I can get behind. It's not a bad album.
Yeah.
The skits are a little long and a little like, okay, dude, and a little but not a bad album.
I like the fake bad Wes Borland interview. I'm sick of it now, maybe, but like
You're right.
I
Yes.
thought
The
that
first time I
was
heard it,
pretty
I was
good.
like, okay, all right, yeah, sure.
I don't know what
it's,
to say.
It's good. There are a couple tracks that I would probably skip on the fourth or fifth listen, which is probably where I'm at now. But yeah, that's the first 3 tracks. I'm gonna say go pretty hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
in
the
a
last
way that
track
you're like
too,
that's a
Goodbye.
yeah. It's a good. And it sounds like a Limp Bizkit record. It was one of the things that, like, when the Prodigy started putting albums out again, you were like, wow, you didn't go make a dubstep record or anything. You made a fucking Prodigy album, and that's awesome. Limp Bizkit just said, like, we're just going to make a Limp Bizkit record. Like, you're right. It's different. It's like there is some wisdom, or that maybe wasn't there however many years ago. but like they kind of just made that thing. They did the thing that they do. They did the thing that like was not present on Gold Cobra.
Yeah.
And
the fall off was so drastic, wasn't it? Because Results May Vary was also like not good, and I came out like that was like 2 years after Chocolate Starfish or something, wasn't it? It was like
I think so. Yeah, but I think like that is that album bad, or had everyone else turned on them by that point and they were like, oh god, fuck this, no one wants to hear this. Like I didn't
think they were too
like Limp Bizkit at
like,
that point. Yeah, maybe that was.
You Alive was on that one, right? With the weird Halle Berry music video.
Jesus
Remember
Christ.
that? Yeah. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
sorry,
not
it's just kinda
self-serious, which I
surreal.
quite like. Yeah.
People,
look,
people in my vicinity, unironically, like, just talking about Limp Bizkit like it's a thing you do.
For what it's worth, when I mentioned it last week, I was kind of still being a little bit of an ironic shithead about it, but I've subsequently, I kept listening to it. I was like, oh, like Jeff said, the first 3 songs are like definitely like they're the sort of like a really good intro, and then I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But I was listening to it just like passively over the week, and it's like, no, it's like legitimate. I went in with like low expectations, and it beat them, but now that my expectations have sort of been reset, it's actually good. It's like maybe their like 4th best album, right? It's not. As
I'm
good
not
as
even
the
a big
first
Limp
one,
Bizkit guy, and I like it. Yeah.
How many do
and
they
same
have?
Here. Like
It's
I've
their
never
fourth?
been a fan, and it's the first thing they've put out as an album, I guess, that I've been like, no, that's good. At least in its like time. Like maybe if I went back and listened to some of that stuff now, maybe I would feel a little bit differently about it. But like it was always just like, oh, this track, the was it or rolled in with with Redman and Method Man. They're like, okay, yeah, you kind of just let's listen to this and forget about the part that Fred Durst is on it. And
there's actually a really good, you'd love it probably. DJ Premier has his own YouTube channel now where he goes through his back catalog of producing stuff and like breaks it down. And he has one about In Together Now, which is the
In Together Now, that's what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Significant Other. Yeah, and it's so good.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, again, like what Ben was saying, we're not all hyping up Fred Durst here, but the stories he has about Fred Durst trying to get him to produce that record are like pretty wild. Like that he seems
Is
to know
In
his
Together
shit.
Now regarded in 2021 as like all right?
That was a good song then.
I liked it then. I think that that track is still fine.
To be clear, I like that song. Like I was a big like Method Man guy, but
Yeah. And I think that's the approach to it, right? It was like you're like, well, I don't really care about Limp Bizkit, but it's like Premier producing this track, and like Durst's verse is not the worst thing on. It's you're like, okay, I can live with this. It's it's okay.
I'm just baffled in a few ways. Either way, this is not the
I don't know what's
it's not
going
the
on.
end of Limp Bizkit coverage on the website. I'm going to show you that. Jan, what do you think, bud?
Oh God! That was 14 minutes of holding my breath. I was trying to be courteous and stuff. I had like 3 different anecdotes planned.
You make it look so easy.
For what you've been playing.
Daylight savings time. You know, when you turn the clock back, I had a friend that thought in his head, and this goes as recently as 2014, he thought like, oh, in that hour that turns back, the hour that it turns back on, all that stuff doesn't matter. So if I wanted to cheat on my partner, I could.
Oh my God.
And that was
That's no.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
not me. Not me.
Ramblings of a madman
yeah.
right there.
That was
With
a
you.
friend of mine.
Did he get to
that-
pick the hour, or was it always like 1 a.m.?
No, it's the 1 a.m. hour. The same thought occurred to me. Mine's the cheating on the partner thing. The first time I ever smoked weed,
Which was
was on
E3
a daylight.
2018.
Which was like within like the last year or so that has been legal.
It was a daylight savings day, and it like freaked me out when I looked at my phone. And I looked at my phone, it was like 2 or like 1:30, and then an hour later I looked at my phone again, it was 1:30 again, and I was like, oh my God. Like
That's the
I could
longest
do
hour ever.
anything. Like time is just looping. I'm in a Groundhog Day. Like I could do whatever I want.
That's
Granted, I was
amazing.
This stuff is
incredibly
great.
That's
crossfaded at the
amazing.
time and not thinking about cheating on my partner. So a different guy than that friend. But
There has to be like a WikiHow article about the things you shouldn't do for your first time smoking weed, and now they have
definitely.
to add don't do it on daylight savings.
Don't do it in a frat house. Also high on that list of advice.
Okay.
Don't do anything in a frat house. Don't go into one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, goddamn.
I forgot
we
the
really
other
covered
anecdotes because I was holding my breath for too long.
Limp Bizkit,
A little lightheaded now. Sorry.
candy.
If only there was a place to talk about those anecdotes.
There you go. There you go.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I played one video game. I'm assuming most people played others.
I think
Let's
this
get
is a
into
song.
it.
Yeah.
Love this new Prodigy track.
Yeah.
You think we could get him?
Didn't he die?
Well, Keith Ed wasn't like
The vote
producing
Keith
the
Flint, yeah,
records. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
a vocalist, but very,
Gotcha.
very important to their biggest songs. But
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will impossibly pivot out of that and talk about Call of Duty Vanguard. I've played, maybe 6 hours of, more than that, maybe closer to 7 of
it's probably
the-
about.
multiplayer.
Okay.
None of the campaign, because I don't even know where to find that anymore these days in a Call of Duty game. I go right for the multiplayer.
Whoa.
I go from rank 1 to 40 in 20 minutes, and then I have to grind all the way to elite after that. So what do you think, Erskine? You've been playing it.
Yeah, I think it's boring. I think it's a really dull game. So I have played the first 3-ish missions of the campaign, and gotten to somewhere around level 15 or something in the multiplayer. I think it's better than I think the campaign is maybe worse. I don't know, but I think the multiplayer is a little bit better than last year's game, than Black Ops Cold War was.
Okay.
I think they have kind of one cool new idea, and that's the different pacing options. And for those that don't know, that's basically like the player count in a map. You can default it to kind of the standard 6-on-6 Call of Duty experience, and they call that tactical pacing. And then they have 2 step-ups from that are assault pacing and blitz pacing. And blitz pacing will turn some of those into like 24v24, but it's not like the map gets bigger, so it just turns it into a shit show.
Damn.
Yeah,
And-
I think they have fumbled that like introduction of that feature to the players. They have just color coded them, and which seems like the least amount of effort you could do. There's just
If you
not
go into
enough
if you go into quick play and
transparency.
hit the filter stuff, I think there is a screen that'll tell you.
Yeah, you
kinda
can. I mean,
what
you
that
can
is, but
find
even
out
that's
what.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find myself, whoever's running my party, I mean, I usually try and take hold of it because I only like to do the tactical sort of stuff. But you're really just getting a crapshoot when you jump into stuff, unless you fine tune your personal preferences and your filters to sort of block out some of the things you don't want to do. Yeah, like you said, some of those combinations can make for really bad experiences. Some of those maps are way too big for small parties, and some of them are way too small for big parties. So it's like it's a crapshoot. There's still a ton of fine tuning that I think we have to kind of wait through and sort of see how it shakes out. The thing that is driving me crazy is the last couple of Call of Duty games have conditioned me to believe that I can like sort of jump over tons of shit and sort of like slide over like waste level things in the world. And this game is not at all about that. Like, I should easily get over that box right there. I can see on the other side of it, God damn it, but I can't jump over it. There's just very strange limitations. And like I said, the last couple of games have conditioned me to think that I can be this sort of parkour, Assassin's Creed almost like soldier, and I'm not able to do that in this game, and it's frustrating.
Well, this
It's
feels
World
very
War II,
like
though. I get it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this feels very locked into the move set and the abilities of that Modern Warfare reboot. Like, it has all of the like mantle on an object or mount on an object mount on a corner and look around a corner with it. Like it's got all that stuff. It has the double click run, like crazy run. And so it kind of has all that stuff. Like I don't know. I haven't really found, like, the maps seem okay. They seem more about they want you to be breaking through shit. So a lot of maps start with boarded up windows and stuff that you can shoot through or melee through, and you know they'll destroy, they'll destruct in ways that seem realistic or whatever.
You got to keep those up for the zombies, though. Damn it.
Yeah, well, so the zombie was about. I played some of that and did not see any wall building at all. It's a weird. Zombies is weird. Zombies is weird this time around. It was like it had voices like a pinball machine, just like lady. Yeah, there you go. Like it sounded like how Theater of Magic, just occasionally you'll be playing it and just some woman's voice is just like, or someone's voice goes, shoot for the tiger. And there's like 9 different voices, and here's the woman talking, here's the guy talking. Like it's that, except it's all these demons that are running Nazis. I don't know who the fuck they are. They all have like dubstep DJ sounding names, but they all are apparently demons or something. I don't know. Whatever. That's not to get too far off track there, because like who cares? But I
mean, Call of Duty does need a pinball mode. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, that'd be something. That'd be a good departure.
The destructible stuff is good, right? Like, I think that stuff's pretty good. I feel like I'm kind of waiting for that to become too old and sort of annoying. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's usually the sort of case where it's like, okay, this thing's gonna always break apart right away. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like, first through 30 seconds of a map, someone's shooting through those windows, or someone's opening it or mailing it out of the way so they can shoot through the other side, or I think that stuff is gonna just kind of play out in fairly similar ways in most matches. But I don't know, like the multiplayer seems okay. I think it's just like they've added 9 more points of articulation to the like microtransaction possibilities in terms of just like, now you've got this insanely overwrought and long MVP sequence at the end of a match, and every one that gets picked to potentially be in the voting for MVP has a little animation, and so you can unlock another one by leveling up your operator to level 5 or whatever. But it seems like they could very easily sell a bunch of those too, and those like there's a whole list of like quips you can assign to in-game moments. You're like, well, when I get a double kill, I want him to say this, but like you only unlock one phrase, and there's only 2 phrases per operator right now. So it's like my guy can just say like, I'm better than you or whatever, and he says it for everything. If he fucking gets knocked over, or if he, like whatever, he's, I'm better. It's just like the same shit. It's insane. The game has an announcer with it's like calling out like double kill and stuff like that. That just feels really out of place for a Call of Duty game.
It's not the other tournament guy.
That would probably be better. Maybe they'll sell those eventually too. They have done announcers in the past.
I want to imagine. Yeah, it's his. The third
Michael Buffer
brother.
Right?
Yeah, another one's appeared. That'd be. I'd like if you could get the Unreal Tournament announcer for your operator, because then you could just like role play that you're the Unreal Tournament operator going around.
And you found yourself in this
monster
battle.
killing. Yeah, in World War II.
You know what? You want me to pay $5? Let me pay to turn off the MVP part. I'll pay you $5. Like you were never going to get it out of me anyway.
They need to strip that out of the fucking game. Like the end of match stuff, because so it'll show like the play of the game stuff that they've done for a while now, where it's like here's someone jumping around and killing 4 people, and then it shows 3 of the, oftentimes 3 of the exact same animation, because it picks 3 players that did something, and it's like that GoldenEye or Perfect Dark type thing where at the end of a match it tries to like assign, like you died the most, you died the least. That's like they try to find something nice to say about you. So sometimes it's like, hey, you got like 12 headshots, and now you're on this list of like potentially being voted as MVP, or you killed your ratio of kills to deaths is really high. But sometimes it's
you
like
held a point for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that would be fine. But sometimes it's like stood near your allies for 2 minutes and 14
What is that?
Like,
what is that?
Hey, you good, bro? Bro, you good? You need anything? I can like go get you a soda or something.
But then there's another one for stood near the enemies for the longest amount of time.
They're just very strange. They're strange stats. They are those
It's like
two are
sometimes they just don't have
baffling.
like good stats to pull, right? Like no one got enough headshots for that to be one of our top 3. No one did enough of this, so we have to fall back to these like really backhanded compliments of just like,
Yeah, I mean,
hey,
or
fucking
fucking, like,
enemies. If that's a high number, that means you didn't kill them often enough, right?
Yeah,
So
like, or what
Most
about
time
like
in the menu.
distance traveled? Yeah, like just do
yeah,
distance.
might as well have that. Like you ran a lot. Like
Man, you're in shape.
That
dying and
makes sense in
respawn.
games like Overwatch, where you have a ton of different objectives and different roles to do stuff. So
Sure.
you have like tank stuff and healing stuff. It makes sense in Back for Blood does it. Like special infected kill, it makes sense in a co-op game like that. It to me, it just doesn't make sense in a straight up multiplayer shooter like that.
it's weird.
'Cause
It's
it's like,
weird. And
either
I'm
you
sure for
have
the
the most
objective-based
kills
modes, you'll
or-
have like you'll have like you held the point the longest or whatever. You captured the
That's
most
not like-
points. Like the additional data points they could pull from some of those other modes that if you're just playing team deathmatch, they just won't have. But either way, it just takes too long to get from the end of one match to the start of another.
Yeah, like on average, how long does it take? Like additional time?
I think it's like 25 seconds, maybe 30.
Jesus. Whoa.
And that's just that stuff, because then it loads out of the match and into the like, here's how much battle pass XP you accrued. Here's how much XP you accrued for your character. Here's how much you accrued for your gun. That stuff you can skip. And the new lobby is ticking down in the background of that stuff. But it's like this, just the rigmarole of like, okay, no one shoot anyone anymore to, okay, let's load up the next map. It's too much.
Yeah,
And
they've like, I guess they like, it's like Hunger Gamesifying everything, right? Like they with like these billboards of like the awards, for like all this stuff. It just, I don't know. It outlasts its welcome. I couldn't believe how long you wait to have people vote, and then you see the ticker still has like 11 seconds left, and you're like, "There's no. What are we doing?
Just
What are we
fucking pick
doing?"
or don't pick. Who cares? Give them 2 seconds. Like, fuck this. Move on. And then you get to the part where all of that is set against the backdrop of World War II.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
what the
MVP
fuck?
like
of
you
World War
remember
II?
That's right. MVP of World War II.
I stood next to the enemy so much during World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really
There's your-
stood near him. It was good
Here's
shit.
your reward.
Yeah. The campaign.
What's the campaign? Yeah. What's it like?
The campaign's like it's very Hollywood. So it's the idea is it is a ragtag group of specialists from different parts of the world. So you got your Russian lady sniper, a couple of British guys, you got your brash American guy, and I think there's an Australian or something in there too. And after one mission, things go sideways and they get captured. And so the rest of, or not the, I can't say the rest of the game because I haven't finished it, but I'm guessing that the bulk of the middle of the game, right up until you do all that and then have one triumphant final mission or something like that, is you've been captured and you're being interrogated. And so it's all flashbacks. It's all like, because it's set very late in the war, like very end of the war, like Hitler is dead type stuff. And you're trying to uncover some weird Nazi plot that I think turns out to be like who is going to be the new leader of the Nazis or whatever.
Hitler 2.
Hitler 2.
2.
Yeah, just
Rebel
like Bionic
Hitler.
Commando.
Writing it down.
He's only
Hitler's
got a beard.
Resurrection. Whatever that ends up being. So they have this mission, and then you get into these flashback missions, and I don't care about these characters enough to like hear them tell their tale about how they got to where they get. It's like the introductory mission doesn't do enough to make you care about them, and then so by the time you get to these individual missions, you're kind of going to them going like, I don't know who this is, and I don't
Who are
really
you
care
again?
who this is.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, I don't feel some like, oh, now I'm attached to the leader guy or the sniper. Oh, the sniper lady sure did go through some stuff. Like it just it's really hard to get any of that. Like I just none of it matters. And I think the writing is pretty bad. Just the characters are just kind of empty, and just so it just feels like this very like kind of whatever war movie kind of take on it, like sub Inglorious Bastards kind of take on like we're a bunch of badasses and we're gonna argue while we're prisoners and And then it's partially like it also kind of reminded me of ODST without the open world, right? Because that game was very much like get to a place and then your mission is a flashback about like you find the guy's helmet and it's like, what happened to this guy? And you find out what happened to that guy, except they're all just in prison or they're all locked up and getting interrogated by some desk jockey Nazi that all your guys are like, oh, this guy's a pussy. We're going to kill him any minute now, and all that sort of stuff. And so it's just, I like the whole attitude of it. I just think kind of sucks. And it's just a very empty experience so far. So I don't know. Like I usually at least like finish the campaign in these games, whether, I used to write full reviews of them. So of course I would do that. But, even still, I would usually play through the campaign and be like, all right, yeah. And just kind of know one way or the other. This one, like, I got to the mission where you fly a plane for a while and the flight stuff is really, the turning radius feels bad. Like just, it does not feel good to play. And I, was trying to come around. Like it's basically you get back in formation after you take down some planes. This is in the quick look, by the way. That'll be going up soon. And I am pivoting around to kind of get back into formation. And it says I've flown out of the mission area, and then it just kills me. And then it respawns me back before I had to kill all those planes again. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. Fuck this.
Yeah,
and so I stopped there, and I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. I'm interested because they're putting shipment into the game, and I want to see what shipment, the small ass map, looks like with blitz pacing turned on. And so I'm interested in that. But this game is not doing it for me at all. Like I think it's a little bit better than Black Ops Cold War. But also I think here's one more thing. So for the past few games now, they've had these operators. It's skins. It's, hey, you're playing as fucking Ghost. You're playing as, a guy with a welder's mask on, whatever, right?
Hitler too.
This is, so they've got the 12 operators, however many there are in this game, and it's the characters from the campaign and then some additional ones that I don't know if they're in the campaign or not because I haven't finished it. Those characters are on both sides.
Yeah.
So you could be American Guy Wade shooting down 3 American Guy Wades on the other side.
He's been turned.
Like, what fucking war is this? It's like there's like America's armied it up. They're like, no one wants to be the Nazis. You want to be these players, and they're like, they didn't want to make Nazi operator skins or something because who's going to go buy the Nazi skins? Or maybe that's a good way. Like, hey, we're going to sell Nazi skins, and then you're on a list now. We know you spent money on this stuff, or I don't know, but it's like, so just the multiplayer ends up having this feel of just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what? It's just the same guys. And so when you turn on subtitles, which I do in most games, it ends up being you just see all these like full names like Arthur Kingsman or like Wade not Wade Barrett, that'd be cool, but and it's just like all these like full names strolling by as they go, and it's all the same names because everyone on both teams is the same character and no one's unlocked all the ones that take like you got to get 50 prone kills to unlock this lady, and you're like, fuck, I'm never doing that. So
the same problem with Battlefield, right? Remember we said it was the same 4 faces you'd see over and over again, or 5 classes, right?
I mean,
it's just so strange.
There's a bunch of operators that you can unlock. What I think is interesting though is like the discovery happened at some point where it's like it doesn't matter what everyone's wearing. What just matters is their tag above their character, because I haven't noticed myself shooting at the wrong people. Right, like I haven't all of a sudden been
and that may be a color blindness thing or something, but since I'm like, and also sometimes it takes a tick or two for that name to pop up and appear, and so I'm shooting first and asking questions later. I mean, it doesn't have friendly fire, so it's not a problem, but yeah, you're right. I think like it's if you want to get like really mad about skins being sold in games, like silhouettes used to matter, right? You used to really care about like, okay, that's the silhouette of a sniper. That's the who's armed with what by the way they look, and at a glance you
Yeah, glance
know
value.
what's
That's
up.
what they talk about when designing like Dota cosmetics is you need to keep the color scheme and stuff of a
Yeah.
hero so that you can
Yeah.
look at it and exactly know what it is.
Yeah,
The
but so
best
before
version
they
of
end up
this,
breaking.
I think, is Team Fortress 2 is like the
Right.
because you could do a lot with those characters. You know what I mean? But they you always, because they were all such different sizes and variations and stuff, you never lost that.
Yeah. So now it's like both sides have access to the same exact characters. In the last game, they at least had like you had to pick two. You had to pick a good guy and a
Yeah.
bad guy
Right.
skin, and then whatever team you ended up on, you would play as your favorite good guy or bad guy. Now it's just like these are the guys, and you're always going to be the one that you want to be, which makes sense from a hey, we're selling skins perspective. But it, like anything about that glance value, anything about like who's who, is this a good guy, is this a bad guy? It's literally like a mirror image of yourself running at you.
That's
in,
weird.
in a lot of
Yeah.
cases.
And also like,
man,
hey,
you
you don't have to play as a Nazi too.
That
Right.
wouldn't that be like
Yes, I'm sure
check out
that
my
I'm sure
sick
that was something they
gobles.
at least had to sit and think about, like, what
force
do you
people
do
to be
about
Nazis.
that problem?
Yeah.
And
What
so
were you
I guess
saying?
No, I was just saying it'd be funny if you like unlock this sick gobles and your Mussolini's looking awesome. Like
right.
there is a
Yeah.
hypothetical world, I guess, but isn't it awful that like this mechanic, which like there's now we've like created in this conversation like 3 or 4 reasons why it sucks, but the only reason it exists is because of money, and that just sucks. That's like
Yeah.
the worst thing. Like it's just a way for them to sell shit, and it's bad for like 4 reasons. You're like, well, that's I guess what happens when you're working on a game this big.
Yeah, I guess so. It just feels like like I said, I think it's the most soulless one of these has felt to me in a good long time. And they expanded the launcher, the title screen yet again. They've been doing this for the past couple. So now when you launch it, it's 4 games wide. It's this game, last year's game, the game before that, and Warzone has its own entry, even though it's technically part of Modern Warfare. And so it's like every time I launch it, it's this reminder that like if you just scroll all the way to the right, there's a really good one of these at the end.
Quick question: how big is this game file wise?
I think
Oh,
the
I don't
first
know.
thing I got was 35 gigs.
Okay.
I can. Well, let me just
I
right
don't
click
know.
on this directory and I'll tell you.
They divvy
I
it
don't
up
know
again.
if I want to say that's the campaign and multiplayer.
77.2 gigs on PC.
Okie dokie.
Huh. Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, I got to go back and look. Maybe grab the campaign in the back.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like I said, I think the multiplayer is like marginally better than last year's game, but not as good as the year before that. And I just
Yeah.
think a lot of the attitude and the characters and just the way they've built this thing just really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, now there were 2 games removed from that one you just spoke finally about.
Yeah.
And how much I was into. I mean, I could not put that down. And now, I'm less than a week out from this one, and I can already see myself kind of bouncing off before the new year. Anyway, there you go.
Anyway,
That's
there's already a bunch of
what-
rumors and leaks about Modern Warfare 2 next year. So
Gosh.
Yeah.
yay!
Remember that? Modern Warfare 2 too. Let's pivot into the complete polar opposite. Ben, you got your hands on some Animal Crossing DLC?
Yeah, I like that the way the AR feels. I feel like they changed a lot of the sound design to make the stuff a little more like the revolver gives it that oomph now you didn't have before. No, so Animal Crossing dropped their big new update. It was kind of a 2-part thing where they hit their 2.0, which is a bunch of quality of life and island stuff, and then the actual DLC, which is the Happy Home, not Happy Home Companion, Happy Home Planner, I think it's called. And so just a little bit on the 2.0 stuff. It's a lot of stuff that players like myself have been asking for a really long time. You can do a lot of really menial things that'll make growing out your island the way you want it to a lot easier and better. You have a hugely expanded storage, and you have access to an outside storage locker. So anytime your pockets fill up, you don't have to go all the way back to your house, enter your house, drop stuff off to empty out, come back and get back to wherever you are. You can just go and build one kind and put it anywhere on your island, which is cool. And then A lot of other little things, like you can fit in tighter spaces. There's new DIYs with fruits and vegetables that you can go and plant. There's kind of now a little like crop management thing. They already had that with the pumpkins for the past couple of fall things. But I think the coolest thing in that regard is now, if you'll remember, there was an island you could go visit called Harv's Island. And it was basically like a little photo studio.
Oh,
It's kind of creepy, but cool.
Yeah, like you could have they wanted you to like take wedding photos there, but then you could also just like drag and drop your villagers and like have them dress up and build a room around them and take some photos. But they've kind of expanded it out now to this like central hub where you can get, so in Animal Crossing, people will show up once in a while, like Leaf, who is the gardener, who will show up and be like, hey, I have like bushes and things for sale that you can't normally get. Or Red, the art dealer, will show up once in a while and you'll be able to buy a piece of art. Now, for 100,000 bells a pop, you can have these people kind of have a permanent home on an island that you can go visit at any time. So this means that you don't have to wait anymore. Like if you need more seeds, if you need to fill out your museum collection with art pieces, before the only way to do that other than time cheesing it was to just literally wait weeks at a time. It really feels like this is their, I mean, they've said as much that this is their final big content update, but it really does feel like they've been like, okay, look, you've had the game now for a couple of years. You know what you want to do with Animal Crossing. We are going to give you all of the possible tools you could want to make whatever you want.
Ben, have you actively been playing Animal Crossing since like before this dropped, or did this cause you to pick it back up? Because I'm a little bit worried because my partner, I kind of want to dip into it, but she hasn't played since like the initial boom of the first year of it being out. So I feel like she may be a little bit neck deep in terms of like, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, definitely. So I hadn't been playing a ton. My partner was playing almost every day for all of the pandemic. Got really sucked in, and I would like sit with them once in a while and, you know, just check out the island. And we like did some big overhaul redesigns and stuff. And so I busted out the graph paper and like, let's make our island like this, and drew some stuff, which is always fun. So I think coming back in, it's a great time to come back in because you have all these new tools and stuff. They offer a de-weeding service now for 100,000 bells. You can pay somebody to come to your island and clear all your weeds. And also there's an ordinance, change where there is stuff. There's an ordinance drop where one of them is like, I want my villagers to get off their asses and help out once in a while. And so now they'll like water more flowers for you. They'll pick up garbage that they find for you. They'll pick up the weeds and stuff. I think there will definitely be a little bit of a ramp up if you are coming back in. And the thing is, a lot of this stuff costs bells or Nook Miles. So you'll probably have to play catch up in that regard. But it's super easy to get bells in that game. You just do the like bell trading once, or the turnip trading one time, and you get like 2 million bells.
Does the weed service work forever, or is it like a one-time payment, or do they just come and sweep the island once and then you give them 100,000 bells, and then next time there's more weeds you got to call them back, or is it just no weeds ever again?
I think it's the former. I think it's the way we didn't do it because I keep my island. Yeah. My partner keeps our island clean. I don't lift a finger. So we haven't done it yet. But the way it's worded is like, I will come clear all your weeds, not like I will spray pesticide all over your island and destroy all the weeds.
Fucking
the real meat of it.
Oh, yeah, I misunderstood that. I thought it was a different type of weed service. Sorry.
No, that you can only do that on daylight savings time.
Okay.
The real meat of the update is the DLC, right? It's a paid DLC. It's $25. It's called Happy Home Planner, I think, and it's really quite fun. So the trailer kind of showed off the majority of it. It's you get a new job. What everyone in Animal Crossing wanted and has demanded all this time for their island fantasy is to be able to work for
finally.
Was it the whole purpose of this game just like you're on a vacation, right? Or like you're starting anew, and now it's like, nah, Gotta go
You've
back
been
to
there for
work.
2 years, dog. It's like, oh, I'm so bored. I have so much free time. Let me go.
no more money.
Contribute to the destruction of the planet through capitalism.
It's like retirement. I see.
Yeah. It's like when you get a second job after you retire. So you fly out to this island, and it's more of a collection of a lot of little islands with one central island, and you meet the Happy Home crew, who are a great little collection of new kind of NPC animals, very full of personality. I think the number one thing I'm impressed with the DLC is the attention to detail, which was a big selling point for me on Animal Crossing in general. That game, while it lacked certainly in some content areas, it always felt extremely polished in its visuals and its audio design and stuff like that. And this DLC keeps that going. So you show up and you talk to them, and they're like, great, here's how it works. People come to us and they have a dream idea. They'll be like, I want a home that is a cool arcade. And you'll be like, okay, great. There'll be like 5 or 6 villagers to choose from, all with different ideas. And you'll be like, okay, great, let's do the arcade idea. You go pick out a plot of land, there's a little like island map, a 7x7 grid, all with different looking little exteriors that are fully customizable. You go in and you'll be like, okay, let me design you this arcade. When it starts out, it's a little bare bones. You just kind of do the standard, like whatever, 10x10 house. It gives you a list of items that they really like to see, but then you can pull from a much larger list. And anytime you do it, they have 3 like key items that you have to play. So for the arcade, it would be like an arcade machine, a drink machine, and a like arcade stool. And when you do those items are permanently added back into your roster of things you can add to other people's homes. So you go, you decorate, you take pictures for them. A big part of it is like keeping a photo book of all of the designs you have. And then you go back to the island, you go back to HQ, they pay you out. They have a little shop. They don't pay in bells, they pay in Pokey, I think it's called.
Oh,
which is
a different currency? Or
a different currency.
The raw
So
fish?
you
That's
can't
good.
a delicious currency that you can't just like game. And I know some people have like millions or billions of bells, so you can't just come in and with that and just ruin the local economy. But all you can do with those are buy items to decorate further houses with. And so that loop goes for a little while. Like you do that 5 or 6 times, and they're like, great, okay, we're gonna, you get a promotion, you get paid more, and then you start building out the island itself. They'll be like, hey, like there's a bunch of abandoned houses on this island. We've always wanted to have a school here. And so you design them a school the same way you would design those little houses. And then you get fun little events where like Leaf showed up one time when I went to go work, and Leaf was like, hey, I was going to put on a class about flowers. Do you want to learn about flowers? And it gathers all the little villagers from the beach. And I'm like, no, dude, but I'm like, I guess if you can teach me hydroponics, that'd be dope. So he goes and he gives his little lecture. And it'll like teach you how to
grow tomatoes really well, man. This is for tomatoes.
Right. This energy draw is because of all the tomatoes I have. Thank you very
growing
much.
tomatoes.
And so they'll give you, and they'll actually like teach you something. Like, here's how to crossbreed flowers. Like, if you've never looked up how to, if you plant a yellow flower next to a white flower, you're going to get an orange flower and stuff like that. That actually has real game implications. And I feel like every time I am like, okay, I get the gist of what this DLC is. It's just going to be this from now on. They kind of add another layer to it. I've been playing it a little bit every day since it's come out, and I'm still finding new stuff. I was worried from the trailer that it'd be a little one-dimensional, but with that, and then the trailer talks about the ability to, like, if you get good enough, you can go redesign the villagers on your island's homes and stuff like that. That's really appealing to me. I haven't gotten to that level yet, but it seems like there's a ton of stuff to do just beyond, like, make a little dream house. But honestly, it's kind of fun to do a little role play and be like, hey, I made this really cool looking arcade. Like, I took a lot of time to make it a really cool looking arcade. It's got the like QSR floors and the like neon LEDs around with like cool
Animal Crossing should add laser tag.
Yep.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Just like Tower Unite.
It'd be perfect because it's non-violent, but you can still shoot guns, which is like every gamer's dream.
Yeah. That's cool that they found a way to make the Happy Home Designer stuff work, because I feel like when that was like a standalone game, the last time they did it, and I think a lot of those same characters came from that game, like it just wasn't enough as a standalone thing, but like as a addition to an actual Animal Crossing game, that sounds like a lot more appealing.
Yeah, it is. And it like kind of has its own narrative. Like you learn more about the people you're working with, like Lottie, who's the owner, and then there's this God, my heart was stolen by Wardell, who's this big walrus, a man of very few words who just kind of chills out and always has a donut to give you on hand. He's my guy. Like
Best kind of walrus.
I know, right? Like why can't every walrus be like that? But it's nice. It has that same attention to detail that the original game had, and it has a lot of levels to it that I think, eventually, like with Animal Crossing, you'll hit a point where you'll be like, I'm good. I can walk away from this. But so far, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And for $25, I think it's pretty worth if you are a fan of the game.
Did you get the DLC on its own, or did you did you buy the other thing?
I did not buy the other thing. I love the N64, but god damn, am I not going to spend $60, 50, 60?
Yeah,
between $50 and $60 a year on top of
Yeah, not really making the case for that one, let me tell you.
You don't like Winback? Come on. Well, you don't like Winback? I'm just going to keep saying that.
Winback.
Well, you don't like Winback?
Ah, what's wrong with you?
What's the matter with Winback?
We'll see when they roll in a new round of N64 games.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
It'll be another tier from there.
Yeah, we'll see. $75 a year. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ben. I want to hear more about Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah.
What is it out today or sometime this week?
Yesterday.
It's out today and last night and last week, depending on how you got your hands on it. I think it was if you were buying the like Ultimate Edition, they let you start playing last week, but the Game Pass release is technically now or last night.
Midnight Eastern, so slightly earlier for us on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So how's that working out?
Who's going? I forget, because I feel like, Jeff, did you play a bunch last week? Or?
Yeah, I've played a bunch of it, yeah.
Let me go, I guess. I haven't played all that much. I played like maybe 2 or 3 hours last night. And I am the person who, like, I like my simmy racing. I like that type of racecraft, circuits, all that type of thing. And I like, arcade racing, like kind of everyone does, I feel like, to some degree.
Yeah.
But the Forza Horizon stuff, I've always bounced off a bit because I found I wasn't too engaged in the world, and the racing for me isn't the type of racing I like to do. Racing for me is more about my ability to race to my highest degree rather than the AI in these games is always rubber banding, and it's built to like make you feel like you're good and all that sort of stuff. I'm actually really enjoying this because I think the variety in the biomes is a massive pull for me, because I like exploring and seeing like the style of map. Like I really liked The Crew when it first came out because it was just like an interesting world to drive around. Like I enjoy doing that in games like GTA, like the process of driving and uncovering stuff, even in my real life. Like it's a thing I enjoy doing, and I think this game replicates that. Also helpful that like I own a Wrangler. They have like the new Bronco is one of the ones that you have at the start of this.
I gotcha.
You can sort of like pretend you're going overlanding because it's Mexico as well, which is like a big place where people go off-roading. So I've enjoyed like sort of doing that stuff. The billboards, the XP for like uncovering stuff, like that type of thing is enough for me to be enjoying that and uncovering the world. So I don't know if I'm going to keep playing long tail, because ultimately a lot of the point-to-point stuff and the circuit racing it's well executed. Like I've done a bunch of them and like it feels good, but it's not like a huge draw for me. But I think out of all of these Horizons, this is definitely the sharpest one for me, and it just looks great. Like I'm playing on 60 FPS mode, and it's super nice looking.
Yeah, I've been playing it on a PC, and it's awesome. It's a really great. It is also very similar to Forza Horizon 4. So I think I talked about this a little bit when they sent a preview version of the game over is like I played a lot of Forza Horizon 4 and then stopped and then played more of it when the Series X came out because, you know, it kind of came around again. It was one of the few games that you could play that was Series X enhanced out of the gate on that console. So it felt like I played a lot of that game and then that I played a lot of it recently. So this coming out, it's very, very, very similar. I agree. Like, I think the biomes are awesome. I think it's a really good open world. I think it's probably a better open world than the last game. And I think the expedition stuff they've done where they've built these kind of story missions as you're going to open up the new outposts around there, which they always do a little bit differently from game to game. Like these ones are fun. You get like these little, like you drive up a volcano and then you got to find a heat suit and then you got to drive around and find a couple of icons and complete a couple of small menial little collection tasks to kind of complete it completely.
What is this, Metroid?
Yeah, right. It's like fun little diversions like that. I think are the very best part of that game. And I'm actually with Danny where I mean, I think the point to point and the circuit racing and that sort of stuff is actually the least interesting part of the game. The part where you have to race in this racing game is the part where it's just kind of flat. Because I think the open world stuff about like collecting, because they put all these billboards for you to break through all over the place, and some of them give you XP, some of them reduce the cost required to fast travel. And again, this is something they've done for the entire franchise, but like that is really fun, and just exploring the world and finding that sort of stuff, and the little speed trap cameras and drift zones and little just kind of open world events that they put in there that you just kind of get to and just do real quick and keep going. I think all that stuff is incredible, and just it's a great time in a great looking world.
It's a good way to keep you constantly engaged.
Yeah. But then you get to a point where like, well, I need to get some more accolade points or whatever to unlock the next chapter, and now I have to do some of these circuit races, and it's like so I don't necessarily play. I've played these games multiple ways. Some years I've gone in and been like, no, I'm going to raise the AI, because eventually when you win enough races, it goes like, hey, you're fucking dusting these fools. Do you want to raise the difficulty up, and we'll give you like 20% more credits? And some years I'm like, yes, I do want to do that. Let's have these races for real and keep it challenging. And some years I'm like, no, I absolutely do not. I just want to grind these out to get what I need to get out of them so that I can move on. Because I think the other thing that they've kind of done in Forza over the last handful of years, Horizon, I guess specifically over the last couple of games, is like the economy is just nonsense. Like it doesn't, you're like, oh, 20% more credits. Like who cares? Like I'm getting so many cars all the time, and it's the tuning cost of them is not that much. And I'm not hunting down the most expensive cars. I want to get regular ass cars and soup them up, you know? I don't give a shit about the 2 million credit fucking Lamborghini in there. Like who fucking cares about that bullshit?
First,
I want to buy this Nova and make it an S1 class fucking Nova and then get crazy.
I just love the paint jobs are always so good. The first thing I did was go get the old like Wrangler JK and stick the Jurassic Park like there was like 15 different Jurassic Park decals that people had done, and like just picked that one. I was like, great, I'm done. Yeah, you can import all the vinyl groups you've made from like the last several Forza games. So if you have ever made them in the last like 5 games or something like that, you can pull those out and use them again. And but yeah, you can also just apply those. There's people are making, as they do, the painting community of from Forza is still at it and making a bunch of weird anime shit that I love. And so I think that aspect of the game, I wish that I'm really happy that they got away from the showcase race stuff that they've done in the past. That's been like my axe to grind with this series for a very long time, was like, it always felt like it was culminating in like, now you're going to race something that's not a car. And it just puts that rubber banding and that fake race thing on full display, because you just see a plane flying overhead and you're like, sometimes it's ahead of me, sometimes it's not. This is nonsense. And at the end, I'm just going to pull it out just barely. I beat the train. This does have a train in it, to be fair. So it does have. Yeah. You beat that wingsuit guy by like half a second.
Exactly. And that's how they always do it. And it's not, they've done it too much now. You know, so if you've been playing all the Horizon games, you're like, I've done this to death, and it's not, the trick is not a trick anymore. This is just boring. And so they've over the last couple of games, but I think this game even more so, they have just like pulled back on that even more and just come up with more interesting little stories. You know, it's like, here's a lady who, you know, in the first chapter, you recover her like grandfather's VW bug, and then she restores it. You know, there's like a whole thing across like 10 driving missions. But even the unlocking the new outposts and stuff, it's not even, there's not even a challenge to it. A lot of it is just like, all right, now drive over here. And now that you're here, collect these 5 things. Now drive over here and get it. And all right, we built the outpost. Now there's fucking an EDM fucking nightmare here too. Congratulations. And it's awesome. It's very like low stakes. And
Yes.
I really like the open world aspect of it. And that's the part that keeps me coming back. But this is the game where I'm finally realized like, oh, the least interesting part of these games is the part where you have to race. And they try to offer options for like, oh, you can do it solo against AI against the drivatars. Or you can make these versus races, but that never seems to work out. They do have some multiplayer, and then that's kind of like in 4, that's where I think they kind of close the loop in a way to make those solo races against AI matter even less. Is like, there was the idea of the Forza Arcade or Forza-thon and some of these other things that are almost like Burnout Paradise, where it'll be like, hey, here's one speed camera. Everyone on this like shard, everyone on this server, these 16 players, whatever it is, drive over here and hit this thing over and over again until you get 50,000 miles per hour, you know, across everybody. And those ways of bringing players together, the battle royale thing, the eliminator thing is in there still from last game. Like they've found enough different fun little multiplayer things that are not always just like, here's a race, to make that really fun too. And I think that's the smartest thing that they've done. And now it's almost just like, just get rid of the races or keep them in there, but like nullify them or make them something that like you don't have to really do for the progression, which you kind of can get away with because the progression is really based around these accolades that, you know, you're earning for doing all kinds of other stuff. It's a really well-made game. You know, if you played 4, you know almost everything that's in here. Like, I think the tweaks are really good though. And I think it's absolutely worth playing and looks awesome on PC.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to have a Mexican person give their opinion on like how it captures the country, because personally I'm like learning way more about that country than I ever did in any other type of like. Yeah. I'm like, I want to fucking go here. I want to go here.
Is everything orange?
It's exactly. There's no like, you know, filter slapped over the whole thing. Like, it's so vibrant and interesting, and it's hard to tell like how accurate it is necessarily, but I've been enjoying that. Like, it's a novel place to like experience in a game. In, you know, when you're our age and older, it's sometimes you've played a lot of the same places over and over again. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh yeah, this is like cool. Yeah, and they've got a bunch of accessibility options in there that I haven't really messed with too much, but it was like a good list of things, like including you can just slow the game down.
Yeah, I saw that. That's really
like, that's wild. Yeah,
it's just like, here's physics running at full simulation, but we can just take the speed of it down if you need that.
That's cool.
Just a handful of different options around the edges there that I thought were
does
kind
it
of
slow
cool.
the music down like that Judge the Dread
would be,
3D? Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the desired
that shit.
effect.
That would be
awesome.
great.
Yeah, like slow it down like 200%, like those Justin Bieber remixes that sound awesome.
I want a Paul Stretch Forza Horizon 5.
What was the name of the drug in Dread again? Slow-mo, wasn't it? Where they popped it and it was like an asthma inhaler and it all just turned into like fucking like, oh,
That sounds
beautiful.
great.
Yeah,
Okay,
all future drugs are that. They're always like they get inserted into your face somehow. All right, very cool. I have no idea. Can you talk about the Anacrusis? I don't know much about it.
We can, right?
Please,
Yes,
tell me.
we can talk about the Anacrusis. Danny and I played the Anacrusis with Stray Bombay's Will Smith and Chet Falizik. I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'm always
Chet Falsek from Valve.
Balasec.
but not from Valve.
But not from Valve.
Straight
Yes.
This is that cruise ship game that like you play as different characters. What's the deal?
This is the like 70s sci-fi, Left 4 Dead-ish sort of thing. And we played through. I guess it was the whole. Was it the whole first chapter of that?
Yeah, maybe episode. I think they called them episodes.
Episode. Yeah,
because
so
it's kind of based on a TV. In world, it's a TV show. You're kind of
yeah. And so it's a 4-player co-op game. You're making your way around the ship, which I believe is called the Anacrusis. And they've just come up with a bunch of fun weapons and grenades and things that let you do fun sci-fi things to these enemies that I guess they look like they were once human, but they have alien heads that out of the corner of my eye would occasionally look like a human wearing a horse head. but if you look right at them, you're like, oh wait, no. And a handful of like, here's some bigger enemies on that, like ones that'll root you to, or like they'll lash you, grab you, do stuff. Big brutes.
One of them it's just like a insanely bright thing that like looks like the
flasher.
sun is walking through the level, and it's just like insane yellow light. Like it was like Danny Boyle's sunshine. It was awesome.
It's a really cool effect. Yeah. And like a lot of those games, it's driven by that kind of like concept of like an AI driver, AI director kind of thing that is trying to kind of ramp the tension up and down. They've got that in such a way where I guess like even weapon placement and stuff like that will be determined by that AI kind of, and they're building it in such a way that it kind of looks at how you are playing as well as just kind of like what would be good for tension. So if you're really fucking up, it might not throw as many special enemies at you. And I think the weapons are really fun. I think the grenades were really good. I think gimmicky grenades in games are often not as cool as they seem like they should be, but I thought that all of the like stasis bubbles slow you down, or vortex grenade that is sucking everything together.
And then exploding them out. Like if you get a big group of zombies and throw that like there's a bunch of games have done the whole like miniature black hole, then they all fly out thing. But it feels good when it's just like, ragdolling like 20 zombies all over the place.
Yeah, or that you're like holding them all together as like a turret you placed is mowing them down. Like that sort of stuff can kind of work together pretty well. It's got a perk system, so you'll find like consoles in the world that you can stop and little stations that you can stop and equip like some random perks and stuff like that. So your melee is like a little push out force bubble that will pop out from you and knock enemies back, and it'll knock them into walls for damage and stuff like that. But I had one that would it would also give me like a bit of a screen, a bit of a shield as I was doing it, which was kind of a cool additional effect. And yeah, it seems pretty neat for like that style of co-op game. That's not always my kind of game. But the sci-fi nature of the weaponry and stuff like that, I think kind of got me over the hump on a lot of that. And it seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, I think having come off sort of Back 4 Blood, I think the way I would, and it's difficult to kind of not talk about one without the other a little bit,
sure,
given the gameplay in some respect. To me, this feels like there's less like one of the things that Back 4 Blood sort of, in a way, I'm not good when it comes to like lots of meta systems sort of above the core gameplay of what's going on. And I know we're only playing like a preview of this thing, but it seems like it's a much smaller team as well, I suspect. What was it, 20, 30 people or something? It's like
20,
it's fairly like pared down in terms of like what else is going on. I don't think there's like a crazy amount of like progression stuff or unlocks or any of that. It seems like from playing with the guys and talking to them that they just wanted to play a game that's kind of like the game you play with your buddies like twice a week. Like it's easy to jump into. The levels are of a reasonable length, that there's a bunch of different episodes that you can sort of mix it up, that the AI director or whatever they're calling it is adding in enough like variety and flair. And then like it's pretty pared down in terms of like the weapons. There's a good shotgun, there's a good like the blaster, all the shooting feels super good. The grenades I think are interesting, but the way in which there's a bit of like emergent play there as well, with like, oh, if we combine that grenade with, like you're saying, with the turret, or in certain levels, like you get in weird situations where it's like, oh no, if I like walk along the edge of this thing and use my bubble, it'll actually just knock them off and they'll die that way. Like there's lots of like that
or there's
type
goo
of strategy.
Yeah, you have goo
Oh, yeah, the
grenades,
goo.
and then the
Yeah.
goo burns. So you get them in the goo, and then you set the goo on fire, and then they all burn. Like that sort of like shock combo type of moment.
Yeah, there's some rock paper scissors going on as well, because especially it seems like because some of the aliens also throw the goo. So there's just like interesting sort of like moments where you have some strategy at play, which is
and there are
I guess-
eggs.
Oh yeah, the eggs are horrible.
Oh, why are there?
Tell me
eggs?
more about these eggs.
I guess you can hear the eggs. I could never hear the eggs. They kept saying like, I hear eggs, and I'm like, I don't hear anything. Like, we're fucked. But it's like these fast rolling eggs, I guess, spiky eggs. But like, I rounded a corner as they were saying on voice chat, like, oh, this egg's here. I was like, cool, let's go. And it's just like rounded a corner, and like 9 things just bowled into me and fucking killed me immediately. I was like, oh, eggs. Okay. The idea being like you can hear them and try to set up for like these things are going to be rolling our way at incredibly high speeds, and we need to take care of them before they take us out or whatever. But I ran into the eggs. With bad.
We had players die, we had players go down. When you die in this, you basically just like come back, right? They said they didn't want to have like a locker system like in L4D or anything. It's pretty like, we'll just get you back in.
Like another player just hits a button to call them back in, and I guess the idea is like
lives.
It didn't seem like if you all go down, that's it. But I think if you kind of survive, you can call them back in. But the idea is that if you call them back in, it is alarming more enemies. Right. So like the same way, like, like, hey, if you use this loud item, it's going to call enemies. The call back in your teammates button had that highlight as well. So I don't know if you're using it mid encounter, if that just means that encounter is going to get crazier, or if they're already alert and it doesn't make a difference. But I think like, again, I think their thinking behind some of that sounded like it was of the, hey, let's just make this a fun game to have fun with and shoot the shit and shoot the shit.
Cool.
And the style is kind of like your, original series Star Trek kind of vibe, like 70s kind of look to it.
Like the health item looks like like a tricorder, like a big old tricorder. Right. Almost you kind of kneel down and use it. Like it's that kind of like 70s sci-fi sort of vibe to it. Cool.
Yeah, like musical and all that. So the levels are quite like, though, I don't know what the reference is there, but they're pretty big. Like it's all indoors because it's in this big spaceship, but the spaceship's the size of a city. And like there was parts where we were walking out and it straight up looked like the outdoors on the Citadel, right, in Mass Effect, where it was like all curbed and like the areas were like fairly large. So it doesn't feel like you're corridor crawling, like it's all in the spaceship, but it feels, ostensibly like you're outdoor, like shopping malls sometimes, like you're going through like sort of like sci-fi shopping malls. I didn't get a strong like vibe from it, I'll say. Like it didn't, like the voice acting, or I don't know how far along any of that sort of stuff is, but the look of it, like it didn't like strike me as a game that is like, and they probably, I wonder if the trailer is similar, where like it's I enjoyed playing the game, but I think a lot of like the fun and the moment to moment nuance maybe doesn't come across with like the the showreel version of it.
Right.
But
and games like that are often live and die on like how replayable are these levels, right? Like how many times can I run this? Am I going to get a new experience enough to keep it persistent?
It sounded like that they could even string the areas together in different orders and stuff like that. To mix things up. Because you are kind of like coming to a safe room equivalent, at the end of a section, and then it's opening the new section. So there is an element of like, hey, what if this was just a different section this time? And yeah, it seems like they've got some neat ideas about how to make that type of game work. Having been in and around some of those games for a long time in some cases. So it stuck out for sure.
And what's the timing on that?
I think the last thing they said is that it was going to be out this year. I'm not
this year. 100%. Is it this year?
That's the last thing they said about it a while back was 2021, but I don't actually know. I think we'll be able to take another look at it in the relatively near future here, but
I'm quite
Man, I
interested in
wasn't-
that. Left 4
Yeah.
or Back 4 Blood never really cemented a place that I was looking for it to do. You know, it's a weird game. It's hard and it's really long. A lot of the acts are super duper long, and even
Yeah.
the levels within them
Right.
are so like. I'm still looking for that Left 4 Dead replacement, and maybe this is it.
This feels a lot more like snackable or something, or like I don't want to be reductive about it. I think like Jeff was saying, like you can tell that they are kind of experts at their craft working on this. You know, like it's a smartly designed game rather than a large game. But when we were playing it, it gave me the vibe of more of a, like we were saying with Forza Horizon, where like it's a game that wants you to just kind of like enjoy the moment to moment action of playing it. It's not trying to get you to be like super good, or it's not like upping the ante, or here come, you know what I mean? Like it feels relatively like a game that I would play with my buddies. Like it's more Rocket League than PUBG if I'm playing with my friends.
And as you
Got
got
it.
better at it, in theory, the AI stuff would ramp up alongside you and try to meet you halfway.
Right, yeah.
By throwing more shit at you. And I think, yeah, we didn't see it because, you know, it's not a finished game. But they did allude to like some kind of meta progression or an aspect of like unlocking cosmetics or you know, like whatever it ends up being. I think they've got some ideas for like what post-release support looks like in terms of just like additional seasons and episodes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, seems neat.
Cool. All right, very good. We've been really going for a while here. I don't know if you really want to talk a lot about Titanfall 2,
No,
Danny.
this is my.
I do.
I feel,
Fuck yeah.
every week I feel like I have I'm going to talk about a game for 20 seconds game. And for Extra Life, first of all, congratulations to all of you streaming for raising money, and for all of the awesome people who are donating and watching and retweeting.
Yes, thank
and
you,
supporting.
everyone.
All the folks, fair play. Another awesome year, and it continues. All the community streams that are going on, and I think a bunch of other friends of Giant Bomb have got some streams coming.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but for mine, I took a real easy fucking one because I had 6 hours, so I just went and played through the campaign of Titanfall 2, which I just want to say that game is still the fucking best first-person campaign in forever. And
Amen.
It was an absolute pleasure. I burned through it. It was like, I think 4 hours and 20 something minutes. It was nothing. So if you haven't
I
played
hear ya.
Titanfall 2, go play fucking Titanfall 2 because it's really good.
It's perfect. Like the level design is great. The weapons are great. Everything about it.
I was talking to
It's
Samantha
anticlimactic
Kalman
ending.
afterwards. Yeah, it's just because there's like 3 really good levels in a row, so they
Yeah.
don't have like the peak. But Samantha came on to talk afterwards, and she was saying how like when she first played it, she was told by somebody that like, oh, wait till you get to that one level that's good. You know what I mean? There's like one really good level, and then like she got to like the second level and was like, with the crazy IKEA factory or the third level. She was
Yeah.
like, oh, this must be it. And then like effect and causes after that, and then it's so good that campaign. And also I played it on Xbox Series X, and it's been optimized for it, and it plays and looks so sharp. So
Yeah, it plays like up to 120, I think.
it does. You're right. Yeah,
Awesome.
it does 120. Yeah, wow.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I might have to replay that.
It's good.
And
I keep thinking about replaying that, but also I keep rethinking about playing Haze. And I don't know.
what?
Well,
No.
gaming
What's
to
the
you is a
connection
religion.
there?
Yeah, that's the main reason.
Well, I need. What's the connective tissue? Is it just like they occupy a
Just
certain
first-person
part of your
shooters,
brain?
just like 2 first-person shooters
Gold
that are
standard of
you know,
first-person shooters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You were talking about amazing first-person shooter campaigns, and I immediately think of Haze.
right.
No, that was just so I finished 50 Cent Blood of Sand, and now naturally in my mind it's like, well, now I need to go back and play Haze again,
Haze,
because my
Get
brain
that
is
nectar. Yeah.
broken. Boosh.
Jan, there is a few more minutes here if you want to dive
I have
into
to know
your
about
favorite
this.
campaign of all
this is
time.
the most. I just found out that this game existed like 2 days ago and was like, what the fucking fuck? And you have to tell me about this. I'm so happy you played this. I have to know. Tell me about Popeye.
Yeah, what the fuck is
Popeye.
Popeye?
I played it. I played it on the Nintendo Switch. Danny, you had such a positive experience playing through Titanfall 2 for Extra Life, and I'm sure that made the hours zoom by.
Yeah.
This was the opposite of that. I normally like to believe that our community is really nice. They're always super generous during Extra Life, right? But there are a couple people that were saying, "Oh, y'all should check out Popeye. Check out Popeye. Check out Popeye." And then I like the chicken chain. I like spinach. I haven't thought of the cartoon character in quite a while. So when I got home after doing half of the Extra Life shift with Rory, I thought Rory deserves a break. I'll just go through play through Popeye for a little bit, and
How did this happen?
I don't like being very negative about some stuff, but man, did I want to find Doug Bowser and just ask him why. Why did you let this on the eShop? This is $13, and the levels shift between 3 maps. And all you're ever doing is collecting. Olive Oil is just throwing hearts, or she's trying to spell out a message to Popeye. So you're either on
it's Popeye.
It's
Jan,
Popeye. This is a remake of the
This is an
arcade
update of the original arcade game Popeye.
I had no idea. I didn't know.
It's 3D, right?
It's 3D,
but
But it's 3D.
the
It looks like a platformer. I saw like 15 seconds of Wayne Radio TV streaming this the other night, and I had to turn it off because I don't want to see anyone else play this because I have to play this for myself. I need to experience the magic. And then I read up on it and saw someone and in their paragraph of text on the Nintendo site or somewhere, it was like, it's an update of the original arcade game.
That's
and I'm like,
crazy.
fuck you. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? That's the worst idea in the world, but also, oh my God. You're telling me it's bad?
It's bad because you run around like a shanty town collecting hearts, and then I'm assuming like the arcade game, Bluto and a vulture are chasing after you, and you can there's no jumping. You're only ever walking around unless you eat a can of spinach.
Very little legs.
Yeah.
Sure. Unless you eat a can of spinach, and then you go into like a powered up state where you can bop folks and like knock them out. Otherwise, if Bluto, a witch, or a vulture catches you, you get bopped out of existence. The sea hag, sure. Get bopped out of existence because the levels shift between either collecting hearts in the sea shanty town or collecting letters that Olive Oil's spelling out to you on a ship that is very small, mind you, or going to a different shanty town to collect more hearts.
Do you ever collect musical notes?
No.
What?
Well, what the fuck? Then this is garbage.
have the
They fucked up.
theme?
Those are the three things. There's 3 levels in Popeye. You get the hearts, you get the notes, and you get the letters, and that's it.
You only get
Bluto
hearts
looks
and letters.
Enormous. Yeah.
God damn it. I was led to believe by the chat at the time that this was only 9 levels, and then I tried my darndest to keep going to 9 levels because I got stuck in geometry.
Oh, good.
At one point, you can't earn back lives. It's run based, so if you run out of your 3 lives, that's it. You hit the high score menu, and you got to start from scratch.
The
Classic.
idea of referring to an old arcade game as run-based is really funny to me. You're like technically right, but
Yeah. And then I got to level 9, and then I was thinking like, all right, baby, we did this. We raised money for the kids. I'm done with this game. I finished it. And then it shows up a level 10. I don't know why everyone, and myself included, were led to believe it ended at level 9. But I presumably it can keep on going. It is not good. It's not good. It runs very poorly. And I don't want to say it's because it's on the Switch, but it just runs very poorly. I want a refund.
It's built in Unity according to the internet, so that's
Jason, what was that game you played
like a template.
with like the you were also in a sea shanty town? You were an anime lady.
An anime lady in a sea shanty town? Oh,
yes.
There's so many.
And then like it was like a horde mode, and then we wound up seeing that was a Unity game that just like flipped assets. It is
It was
exactly
like hentai versus evil, I think.
Yes. It shares the same exact DNA as Popeye.
Nice. Oh, man.
Popeye is
Dude,
hentai adjacent. Oh no.
Uh-oh, something's happening.
Jeff is grabbing his Switch.
Jeff, please
Buy it
don't
right
do
now.
Jeff is
He's buying it.
downloading.
I was surprised how much he knew about the old one. He knew like an upsetting
Yeah.
amount about the
I
old
played
one.
it.
And
It's
Nintendo
a
made that game.
old
That's a
arcade game.
Nintendo game. Nintendo
Wow.
made Popeye.
Did Miyamoto make Popeye?
Jan, I've got bad news.
Is Miyamoto Popeye?
Donkey Kong was originally a Popeye game. And then
Yeah.
they couldn't. They like, oh, that's not going to be a good fit for the license
Oh,
or
that makes
whatever
sense.
happened. It ended up getting retrofitted. But like that game originally, they were like, let's make a Popeye game.
Oh my god.
There's no. Why is the Switch so unresponsive? Just moving a menu sucks on this thing a lot of the time. P-O-P-E. Okay, Pope.
Oh
no,
boy, it's
Popeye.
happening. Mistakes in real time.
Sounds like Jeff's
We're
gonna
seeing it.
finish it.
Also,
off-stream.
though, but like on like a smaller level, the sound mixing is just so terrible. It's just the one song on loop for the whole entire
But
game.
it's the song.
Is it
right?
Banger,
It's
though?
the song.
No, it's not that one.
What?
No, it's not even the Popeye
And you're
theme.
punching, and then they're throwing bottles at you, and you're punching the
Yeah.
bottles, right? And
They throw bottles at you, but they don't tell you that they're going to
What?
throw bottles at you.
Why is no
the
one
menu
stopping
have the
Jeff?
theme?
What is
no
what is
one
happening?
tells you, but no,
Why
that's
is no
real
one
life,
just
baby. No
tackling
one's
you?
like, hey,
What?
I'm going to throw bottles at you. They're like, fuck you, man. Like they're going to throw bottles at you.
Someone,
Right, it
someone
kinda
in the
defeats
house
purpose.
that can stop him.
Oh shit!
No, it's better if he gets this out of his system.
What?
I bought
What's wrong?
Popeye.
Oh no.
Oh,
$13.
we're such enablers. We're no better. We're enablers.
Right. That's right.
Expensive.
Yeah, download that.
No.
Here's what a
Make it
mistake
happen.
is like. Mistakes were made. Well,
How big is it? How big's the download?
I don't even
out with
remember.
35K.
My favorite part of this game, though, is like when you do punch Bluto or the Vulture, it's just a very loud, like whapping sound, like whap! That's
Oh,
like
that's pretty good.
comes out from behind you. Also, I love when the Vulture comes in because it's literally just a human just going, "Grrr!" And then that's
Nice.
it.
Okay,
Jan,
I
love
have
that
the
you're
file
so
size
positive
here.
That you have to
that-
say something nice about Popeye.
I can't. It's
It's just the delivery. He's really not saying anything nice. It's just how he's saying.
No,
Popeye
I
is-
have here.
Uh-oh.
What's he doing?
Okay.
Oh, no.
I
Jeff
didn't
is-
know.
He's
I didn't
leaving.
know
He's
Jeff was
eating a
super
can
into
of
Popeye.
spinach.
Can anyone explain to me why he's so excited about this?
Oh my
I don't
God.
understand.
I didn't. I never knew this.
Popeye the arcade
I don't
game
know
is
why
legit,
I bought
dude.
this.
Look what
I
he
mean,
has. This
that's
is-
fine.
It just struck me at the
It's a hidden
time
treasure.
So this is
Okay.
an
Wow.
artist did a rendition
Okay.
of what if Popeye,
Okay.
what if Donkey Kong was actually a Popeye game,
Got it.
and an artist did this and sold like 50 of these, and I was like, that's cool. I can't read the signature now. This is number 1 of 50.
Well, now it
How
comes
did
full
this never
circle.
come
Now
up?
we get it. Yeah.
How did the fact that Gersman is like this like closeted Popeye aficionado is just
Yeah, like he's just a Popeye freak.
I'm not a Popeye freak.
wait a second,
I mean,
you never
yeah,
told
but-
us what you dressed up as at Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Number one. Number two, you're not a Popeye freak, yet at an arm's distance, you have a fucking 1 of 50 limited edition Popeye art.
I'm a Donkey Kong freak. See, it's Bluto. He's got barrels. He's throwing them down. See, it's
I get it,
Donkey
yeah.
Kong, but
And I feel like the
See?
Donkey Kong Popeye connection's a story you've heard before, and you're just like, that
yeah,
was the
this.
yeah. That's cool. I like the art.
See them together
I don't
in the metaverse.
think you were better off buying that than the game, but
It's 812 megabytes though, so it fits real
Ooh.
good on the Switch.
fits in there real nice.
I mean, actually,
Already
I'm
done
just
downloading.
like 200 megs. So I
Oh,
guess it's
wonderful.
I probably
All right, well,
have
during
enough
the break-
points to-
not- Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, not you, Jason.
No.
Look, we have to stop this
God
madness.
damn.
Jason's getting it. I need it.
Play
Right.
some of the
Oh.
break.
Oh
Ben,
my god.
no.
This is how bad things start. we don't want this. We have to take
Oh,
a break.
Sponsoring this?
Stop the madness.
One-
What, Jen?
One fun fact,
Keep it
though.
going.
One fun
Yeah.
fact about
Yeah,
this.
sell me on it.
The people that made this Popeye game also made the calculator app for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, that's good.
Well, that's some prestige right there.
Yeah.
We got some chops.
That's so weird.
That's
Why is there no
I'm
music
like,
at the main
yeah.
menu?
Calculator app.
Why is
It's,
this-
it's
it's like
dead silent. It's dead silent, Jeff.
it's like some budget ass.
Oh,
Oh.
pretty great.
Is there?
That's pretty
someone-
great.
That?
Is the Popeye theme like owned by like some other person? Is that like because it seems
That's me.
wild that
I
wouldn't
think
be...
Sony might actually
Own
own
it.
it.
I was gonna say, how's it not
Patch that
free
in.
domain by now?
right. Yeah.
Right?
Time
Is it
back.
only on the Switch?
I don't care to find out.
I think it is.
Wow.
What was that, Jan?
Because on my Adam Sandler train, Gennady Tartakovsky, the guy that made Samurai Jack, really wants to make a Popeye movie. So I think Sony swooped up on the rights and was like, all right, we'll give you a bone one of these days and let you make your Popeye movie. That's it.
All right.
Wasn't there a live action Popeye movie like 20
Yeah,
years
Robin
ago?
Williams.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's
It's
rough.
Yeah,
fun.
we don't
It's
speak of that.
That was
weird,
goofy
but
as
it's
fuck.
Kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please
His
take us
arms
to break.
are just very unsettling.
Shelley
All right.
Duvall?
Yeah,
Wow.
dude. Who else? Who else could play
I guess.
Oddball? Come on.
Yeah.
God, Shelley Duvall. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
seriously.
I have to watch that.
We got to take a break before more mistakes get made. We'll get to the news right after this. Stick around.
Let's get real online. Let's get all the way online. Let's put it on the web. That's what they say. When it's time to make it real, it's like, why don't you put it on the web, fool? Well, guess what? It's beyond time for you to put it on the web. Whatever your thing is, you're selling stuff, you're trying to put up pictures, your resume, you're trying to publish just some content, you're trying to write some stuff, showcase your work, you're starting a business, whatever you're doing, Squarespace can help. They've got beautiful templates created by world-class designers, so you can just use what they made, customize it with just a few clicks, and make a website all by your lonesome. And you can sell stuff. They got powerful e-commerce functionality, that's electronic commerce, to help you sell anything online, and analytics to help you figure out what the hell's going on behind the scenes. It's all optimized for mobile, and there's nothing to patch or upgrade ever. They'll even help you buy a domain if you need one. And they've got customer support ready to help you. Act now. Let's do it. Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/bombcast, and the offer code is BOMBCAST. Mental health, let's make it happen. For ourselves, for the people around us, just make sure that you're just being the best you that you can be. Are you struggling? A lot of people are. It's been a couple of years here. It'd be almost weirder if you weren't struggling, I guess, in some sense. And therapy can help. What is therapy? It can be whatever you kind of need it to be. It doesn't have to be just sitting around talking about your feelings, all that sort of stuff. But, hey, you got feelings you need to work out. Therapy can do that too, man. But you can privately talk to someone, if you feel like you're not dealing well with stress or having relationship issues, that sort of thing. Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of these normal human struggles and work on feeling better. Work on you, because you deserve to be happy. And now there's BetterHelp. BetterHelp is there to help you, so you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you, all that sort of stuff. BetterHelp is online therapy. Over video, phone, even live chat if that's what you need. You don't want to get on a camera or something. You can chat with somebody typing if that's what you're after. It's highly customizable that way. It can be more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about and see if it's for you, because you are your greatest asset. This podcast is brought to you in part by BetterHelp, and you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/bombcast. That's betterhelp.com/bombcast.
Oh, hey, welcome back. So we go to break, and this guy over here in the top left, the screen goes black, and he goes, "This game fucking sucks." And we're like, "What do you expect, dude?" And he's still
Imagine-
playing.
I was playing a different game. I wasn't playing Popeye. Popeye's is immaculate. It's like
It was
That
upsetting
was
watching.
just at one stage. It was
You just
at
called
one
it
stage.
Popeyes.
There's still like two others.
When you
This-
were like a kid and you saw an adult doing a thing that you were like, oh, like not, you just saw like adult activity
Fucking?
that you were too young for.
When you saw
like
fucking?
that's what I feel like I saw. I did not fucking, just like, oh, they're drinking or doing drugs or I can't be a part of that. Or fucking, sure,
Not
we'll
fucking,
do the fucking.
God forbid fucking, but doing drugs. It's fine.
Well, fucking isn't naughty. And then anyway, That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like.
I'm on level. I think it's 5 or 6. And
You've only got a few left to go.
Has the fucking started yet?
Not yet.
Do they? Is that the goal? Is that the goal for those two?
Well, I have not
he
let
pays money for
Bluto
this.
catch me yet. Maybe he fucks me if he gets me.
Literally, the
don't
entire
know.
arc of Popeye is Popeye and Pluto trying to get olive oil to sleep with them. That is.
And
Didn't
Bluto
she
is
have a
like,
baby though. Sweet
what?
pea.
Oh, sweet
She had a
pea.
baby,
Yeah.
but
Is that
but
Bluto's
he was like
kid?
adopted or
Fine.
something. He
Oh,
like
God.
slept up on a beach or
They
something.
have an alternative lifestyle. You got to respect it.
I have
that's
so many
cool.
questions.
Yeah, I
Ben,
like
Ben,
that.
say
I
the
like
news thing. Say the news thing.
Woke Popeye, whereas
What's
like
the news thing?
Moving on.
Here's the news thing. This game
MMS
sucks
Popeye.
shit out of a dead dog's ass.
Moving on. It's time for the news. This just in. The news is here for another week. Curated by me, Ben Pack, somebody who has a degree in journalism. All right, here we go. This got announced this morning. Riot Forge has announced their first game. Riot Forge is the Riot's subsidiary. I don't know how you call it, but they act as a publisher for other studios that want to make League of Legends games. And the first one that has been announced is... you guys are hovering over the thing. I couldn't read the title. Hextech Mayhem, a League of Legends story, which is a game developed by Totally Choice, creators of the Bit Trip series of games. And hey, it looks like Bit Trip, but with like little League of Legends guys running around instead of Bit Trip Runner.
Did they rename themselves to Totally Choice? I thought they were Choice Provisions.
oh, is that? Yeah, you're right.
Oh, you're right. It's
Choice
that's
Provisions.
Their Twitter handle by Choice Provisions,
Yeah.
as the document now correctly says. Yeah, I don't know. If you look at the trailer, it's straight up just like looks like it's two little League of Legends guys I'm not familiar with talking about running
Right.
and explosions.
Is this
Is
Switch-
one named
oh, Switch
Hextech and the other named
PC?
Mayhem? Yep, switching
Did you
PC.
say that? Yeah.
Oh, I
Sound
reckon
next
one
week.
of these guys is the little guy who makes towers, right? Turrets. Jan.
I've tried to remove myself very hard from League of
Smart.
Legends lore. I just remember the pirate lady.
Wow,
Yeah,
you
there's a
remember her
pirate
name
lady.
as well.
Misfortune. Oh, you'd remember Misfortune if you played League of Legends.
Misfortune. honestly.
I like that.
It's no Van Cleef, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks fine. I think it's less of like, wow, this game looks amazing, and more of like, it's interesting to see now what Riot is going to do in this space, right? Like League of Legends is so huge. They just announced that Worlds had 4 million viewers. Their big yearly tournament was a massive success. They've got the new Netflix show, which is pretty highly regarded. People are saying it's
It's
pretty
not
good.
bad. I know
Yeah.
I just
Good.
said I was
got
removing
a
myself
look.
from League of Legends lore, but I did go and watch that. It's styling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a cool thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they're really trying to build it out as more of just League of Legends the game, right?
Right.
Right, and it feels like Riot is always working on like 9 different unannounced things, right? And they just end up getting killed, and like whatever happened to the cannons. I mean, they went there at some point, right? Like that fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Project
yeah.
F.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
that
still
then
happening.
became I guess at some point became Project F or whatever. And all that other stuff from the devs they acquired or just teams they built out. And so it's interesting to see something actually making it to market, and they had to
Right.
go to an external
Well,
studio
they did
to make it
Valorant
happen.
too.
You're right, they did just do Valorant. Yeah, so I guess maybe after all these years of experiments and all this other stuff, maybe they're finally like, okay, here's some stuff we're actually happy with that we think can either be really big like Valorant or can be deliberately kind of small and fun like this. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. None of us are League players. not much to say about this.
Clearly.
Trying not to be.
Yeah.
Every
Oh,
time it gets
okay.
brought up, I think about it again. But thank you for keeping me
Yeah.
away from it.
Yeah, no problem. This next thing here on the docket is something somebody else slipped in that I was thinking about including, but yeah, let's get into it. Who dropped this in there?
I did. A lot of earnings calls last week. Like a good round of, your EAs and your Ubisofts and everybody kind of talking about like, hey, here's what we're doing, here's how we did, all this other stuff. But there was kind of a running theme of everyone had to make a statement about NFTs because they have reached a level of interest that now shareholders are going to ask questions like, what's your NFT strategy? And so they all kind of got out there ahead of those questions and said, here's our NFT strategy. And predictably, EA and Ubisoft and Zynga, all three of them are like, yeah, man, we should make a bunch of money on this stuff if we can.
Square Enix also.
Square Enix, right? Yes. Cool. And right.
Awesome.
Finally, God, finally getting some cool legitimacy in this space. And I guess I mostly just wanted to bring this up because as you think it through, none of these companies are actually incentivized to support any kind of decentralized anything, any kind of blockchain anything.
Yeah.
And this is earnings call talk to satisfy shareholder questions the same way shareholders used to ask, what are you doing about VR? What are you doing about mobile? What are you doing about esports? Congratulations to NFT to rising to those levels.
Well, to your point, is that like the death knell where you're like, all right, hey, these 3D glasses, are we making them? Are we doing them? And then that's it.
Right.
I hope.
Well, think about the number of hurdles that would have to be cleared for this to actually happen. And I saw one a longtime game developer, David Lang, on Twitter, kind of acknowledging like, Apple's never going to let any of this shit on their fucking store.
Yeah.
And to that end, like Steam has already kind of gone against this stuff. I assume that I shouldn't assume, but like, I don't think that Sony and Microsoft would be super psyched. I don't think Nintendo would be super psyched to see this sort of game on their storefronts either. Games that are like having like trying to add a real world value to things. The same way Blizzard did with the Diablo 3 real money auction house that went so well. For the 6 months that existed.
Explain to me. Okay, let's role play for a second. Explain to me.
Back 3 school.
Yes, the most practical application of this technology with gaming. Like, explain to me why there's even a pilot light lit in this sort of conversation.
The pilot light is lit because there's just enough money and talk swirling around it right now that every company feels like they have to have something to say about it. But and you have Ubisoft saying that they made an investment in it. But if you actually try to like work out in your head what would the integration look like, it's a few different ways, right? So, but I'll here are the few different ways that I think it could work out, or that you could potentially go for with the technology.
Yeah, hypotheticals.
And then I will say why I don't think that they would do it this way. It's a lot of stuff about digital ownership, and that's a very hot topic in gaming. And even before all this shit came along, the idea of used games and digital sales and all this other stuff has been kicking around for years and years and years and years. And so I think EA in particular has an interest with what they do with FIFA. You have a FIFA Ultimate Team sort of thing. That's people giving money to EA and EA giving something back that they can say has no value, but really to the hackers and players and all this other stuff it has some value. What if they could attach real money to that and then get a cut every time someone sold a FIFA card to another player? I mean, it won't be called FIFA. Eventually they're going to drop the fucking license, right? But EA football Ultimate Team.
Brass 11.
They're paying $1 billion for the FIFA name,
winningest
right?
11. There's been talk, and they've been petty in the way that they have not mentioned FIFA's name in their earnings call and all this other stuff. Like that naming rights thing is going to come up for review, and maybe they'll renew it, maybe they won't. It's
also
to me, just
not a great brand name ever, and especially right now, it's actually there's some more recent
Yeah.
stuff. So nobody
Right.
cares about FIFA. Nobody talks about FIFA in the Premier League. That's you know what I mean? Like it's like
it has like EA is doing more for FIFA than anyone else at this point, probably in terms of the name.
100%. The word FIFA now to most people, majority of people, even people who play football, is the games. It's not
Yes.
the organization. Yeah.
It's like Kleenex.
So-
yeah.
So you have a situation like that. So EA probably looks at this and goes like, okay, what if players could sell those FIFA Ultimate Team devices, the cards, virtual cards, to each other for real money? And what if we got a percentage off each one of those sales? So if those things just keep going up in value and the market gets hot and they're selling all over the place, much like the Steam marketplace where Valve gets a cut of every sale, what if EA got a cut of every sale? That's how it could work in terms of how you would do it with NFTs and on the blockchain, but also it's a reason why you wouldn't do it, because why would EA do it on the fucking blockchain? They already own enough infrastructure and enough payment backend and enough stuff to do all that shit themselves. So this is just them trying to say like, hey, if there's money there, we're going to find it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they don't have any reason, because they don't need to work with any other company. The interoperability, the open standard thing that people kind of keep throwing out when they talk about digital goods and rights transfers and stuff like that is this thing of just like, what if a sword you bought could be used in any video game? Which is not how any game developer is ever going to fucking operate in the history of the world. And it's just not going to, that doesn't work. Like those sorts of flights of fancy are coming from people that fucking don't know jack fuck about video games. They've never fucking made one. They're just coming to it from like, well, we made a bunch of money on mobile, and what if we were early on this too? You know, whatever it is. So I think there's the digital goods like that. I think that's the one of the purest things you could look at, because I think that equates in a lot of one-to-one ways with what the NFT market is right now. But also, again, EA has zero incentive to do it on the blockchain. It just incurs a bunch of additional hassle that they don't need to do. Interest. They could take that money right now. They could flip not flip a switch, but they could develop that back end to sell those cards and take a cut of those sales anytime they wanted to. But God, the last thing they want is like even more government fucking eyeballs on them, because now they're letting people sell that on some kind of openish market, whether it's on the blockchain or on the EA chain. They don't want to fuck with that. They want the money from it, but it's going to bring scrutiny to them at a whole new level.
That's what I cannot shake loose. Like, I don't understand, like the spirit, right? The spirit of crypto and all that is this decentralized sort of currency, which acts in their worst interest as a capitalist organization.
There's no incentive for them to do that. It's not like the NFT as a brand or whatever is enough to be like, oh, this is how we have to do it this way. It's the only way we can make money. Like EA already has users. They already have players. They already have fan bases that would work in whatever system they set up. It doesn't need to be on the fucking blockchain unless they want to appease investors.
Yeah, what I think is the phrase NFT is slowly going to lose all of its original meaning. Just like I can't, nothing else really comes off the top of my head, but I'm sure there is a perfect analogy to like a thing that like hashtags, right? Like they served a very specific purpose. They meant a very specific thing in their inception, and then they just completely lost. They got repurposed as something else, and that is maybe what will survive.
Like
Sure,
organic groceries. It just doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, or Frisbee, or Xerox, like those sorts of brands that just become like the term for the item. Like maybe NFT has a shot there, but like, and Zynga went a further step to say like, we're going to look to integrate. We're going to have games built entirely around play to earn, which is the term that they're throwing around for this sort of stuff.
Fuck.
And that's where you get into like,
fun.
yeah, right. Like
gold farming.
No, if I'm not earning money, if I'm not farming WoW gold, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
And again, that's I think where the platform holders would maybe either want enough of a taste of it to not make it worth their while anymore, or say like, no, we don't want any part of this. Because the larger this gets, the more government scrutiny is going to come down on top of it. I think I saw some of the IRS kind of reporting around
the infrastructure
these types of
bill,
digital asset holdings and
there's if you've like something somewhere, is it over $10,000 worth of
yes
crypto, or NFT or any type of digital
Right.
assets that you need to start filing. And
By
why that's
the time
important
the
is
government
because-
gets done with this, it's going to look like money. You know, all the problems that
Right.
people had with money, like the free ride will be over. The fucking like, here's our shadow money, and I bought bootleg Yeezys with Bitcoin on the fucking dark web. Like,
There's
you know,
a-
like
there's
those
a
days
really
are
good-
fucking over.
There's a really good Twitter thread that explains why that's a big deal, is because like if it for the ones that are doing it as a straight up money laundering scam, it's like, yes, I can point to a transaction history that is like, look, these were sold for like $400,000 a pop. That means you should buy these, right? But if it's your own money, that's how people are tricking other people. It's like, hey, I go to my friend, I say, hey, here's $400,100. Buy this thing for $400,000. Keep the 100 as a service. And then there's a receipt on there on the blockchain because it can't be tracked, because it's decentralized. It just says like an anonymous person paid $400,000 for this thing. Now, if you have to report all of those, the government can more easily track the money laundering aspects of it.
Yeah, and all the, you know, all wallet mixing and all this other stuff, like, you know, they'll catch up, I think, on that front.
Yes.
So the other use I would see for this is something, again, that I think is actually long overdue, but again, something that you don't need the blockchain to do, and that's the ability to sell used digital games. The idea of just like, hey, I am playing, you know, Battlefield 2042. I am done playing it. I am going to put it up on this marketplace and sell it. And the publisher of that game gets this percentage of it every time it sells, no matter what it sells for. Like, you know, it's a case where like, oh, the minimum sale price you can set for this game is set by the publisher still, and they say it's $20.01, and you get the 1 cent because they get $20 every time. Like that sort of thing. About like, you know, and so the idea of selling your digital entitlements to digital games is something that, God, I would feel like I was talking to someone at EA a fucking decade ago about, hey, this is something that's eventually going to happen. We just don't know like what form it's going to take. And there isn't really a lot of pressure for us to do it yet, but we kind of know that this is eventually going to come to this industry. And now it's colliding with this NFT hype in a way that you could see, oh, well, hey, what if every copy of, you know, you see some people starting to theorize like, well, what if every copy of a game you bought was an NFT? It's like, okay, sure, you could, but EA already knows you own it. And in a case where it's a smaller publisher that doesn't have that huge back end, PlayStation knows you bought the PlayStation version of this game. Microsoft knows you bought this Xbox version of this game, and you can play Back 4 Blood here, and you can do this here. And like all that sort of stuff is already tracked for digital sales. There's no need to go on the blockchain unless you want to introduce a huge headache. And again, decentralize it in a way that like they don't want to do that. They want their cut every time, and they can get it directly. You don't need to go on the blockchain again, unless your investors are pressuring you so much to have some kind of solution for someone. Well, what's your crypto strategy? And you cave on it and go like, here it is. There's no reason for them to fucking go touch any of this shit.
But that's the thing. They'll just repackage it, right? They'll just like, they could even get away with calling it that. Who fucking cares?
Who cares?
Right?
Yeah. Words don't have meaning anymore. Call it the fucking blockchain. The fucking,
there you go.
The EA blockchain auction fucking block. Put it up here,
rights
man.
Management, right? So it's not like yeah. There's nothing.
That's it.
But I hear what you're saying, because the problem is when you're on those investor calls, or like if there's any sort of strategy, they need to be like, it's the same way we talk about how like everyone's talked to everyone about having a merger, right? You have to have the conversation, even if you're not going to do anything. The conversation has to happen. There has to be a strategy, even if the strategy is, we did our research and we don't have it, we decided not to have a strategy. You have to have the initial rumblings of that, and so that's what a lot of this kind of feels like, where there's no plan, but
yeah, you'll see companies, and I think Ubisoft has like there's a company listed there that they've made a strategic investment in or something like that. Like you'll see a lot of strategic investments in companies that are trying to do play to earn and trying to build some kind of fucking crypto thing, and everyone will do their due diligence. And I bet on the other end of it, we don't see a lot of action. You see a lot of, maybe you see a lot of ideas that come out of those learnings, right? You're like, okay, we looked at all this stuff. We have no reason to do decentralized anything, but here's our new product for selling digital games, or here's our, you know, and EA, remember, EA is the company that's been trying to get money out of used game sales since the 360 with their $10 online pass. Like they've been trying to crack that nut a billion different ways. And so this is the way that they finally get it. And the thing that will happen, I think, out of result of this is the NFT shit, the blockchain shit, the digital ownership, the concept of digital rights management and users being able to sell their stuff. That will gain just a bit more acceptance in a way that people will accept EA letting you sell your used games. Because at the end of the day, what the fuck is a used digital game? It's not like...
Well, it's like not top quality. The manual's scuffed. I've been in the sun too long.
It's missing a couple
scratch
packets.
on the disc and it loads a little slower. Like, there's no...
It's first run.
Like,
first run.
The whole concept is nonsense. Other than giving players the ability to get a little bit of money back out of something. But again, those publishers are going to get their money one way or the other on that stuff. I think it's why you see all these key sites popping up, and some of those were scams, and you're seeing like the rise of more and more sites that are just like selling Steam games cheaper than Steam is. It's because as long as the publisher's getting theirs, who cares? They don't. So... yeah, that seems like where that stuff eventually ends up for me, but I don't know. It's just it felt like the sky was falling there for a bit as one earnings call after another was full of people going like, "Oh yeah, we're really going to look into this shit," and then you realize like, no, I mean, of course they have to look into it because this is an earnings call and that's what you do.
And some lower level person is tasked with like figuring out the right language to make it seem like something is afoot in there and popping it in the presentation, right? Like,
it's just like, here's a slide. This is like, we think it's a big deal. We're gonna look at it. I think the screenshot of the Discord client with like a wallet integration is actually way shittier than any of the earnings call stuff. And
well, they're getting a lot of blowback from that.
Yeah, a lot of people. Well, seems like a lot of people are talking about canceling Nitro because the CEO of Discord was out there posting screenshots about like, man, what if it was a Web3 app or whatever? And
I mean, all I fucking get in Discord is goddamn like fake NFT server invites. I don't know how.
You are on some bad servers because I don't get any of that.
What do I do? I'm not on anything bad. I'm on a Giant Bomb Discord, and that's
there you go.
Really,
well,
you're on the wrong one. You're on the other one.
Those
and
gremlins,
those, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on. Anyway,
I gotta say, outside of the like environmental stuff and all that, like isn't this like the opposite of what the fucking internet was meant to be? Like it was supposed to be about not owning anything, about like giving and fucking. It's like the idea that like commodification will like set us free is the most fucking stupid shit I have ever heard. And
it's the most backwards, like from where we started on this stuff about the information.
It's a whole
wants to be
other
free stuff.
conversation, but the whole my biggest problem with the whole metaverse thing is like, oh, it's going to create a thing where you, the user, can create anything. It's like, no, dog, that was the internet.
That's now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Look,
Anyway.
we screwed up. We screwed up the internet. We got to try to start it all over.
Damn it, Jeff.
Pull the plug. Reset the router.
Make it hard to connect.
We'll get it right.
Just
Don't
make
worry.
it hard to get on the internet. That's it.
I've been
Web
saying that for
2.0.
years. I've been saying that for years. They made the internet too goddamn easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
Make people install a network cards. That's all we have to do. It'll fucking clear out 80% of the junk assholes we have
made it
on
too
here.
easy.
All the
Right.
fucking old.
It's the Eddie
and-
Murphy bit about guns can be cheap, but make the bullets like $5,000 a pop. It's
Yeah.
like,
I
computers
like-
are cheap, but getting online.
That I believe that was a different comedian, but perhaps you're choosing to rewrite history. In which case, sure.
Yes.
Made it too easy.
Yes, I am.
Moving on.
Moving on. A couple delays to hit to get us going.
Woo.
Danny, I have a degree in journalism, not a degree in comedy. I can't be trusted for that. Couple delays. Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, the big new expansion for 14, has been delayed for 2 weeks. I can't remember if it was the producer or the director, put out a very, very heartfelt statement that was just like, dude, I'm trying my best, man. I'm burnt out, though. Like, please don't be mad at us. And most of the reception I've seen has been generally pretty positive of people like, it's 2 weeks, whatever. If it's good, it's good. Just take your time with it. They cited that this is going to be the game's biggest expansion yet, and they kind of their reach overstepped their grasp a little bit on development.
Yeah, I got like less than a month to get up to there, right? I could start from
You need
1
the time,
to 80. Yeah.
Sure.
And then
After you finish Popeye.
Yeah, you have to be. Popeye
I saw you
first.
looking down. Stop it.
I
I
couldn't
don't know if
remember
there is
we-
finishing Popeye.
if this broke last week or not, but Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are also delayed from to plus. I don't know.
Wow.
That was all in the release. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
well,
shrug,
like, those
shrugs.
games, they never even had release windows for those
Yeah.
games.
How can you
And
delay
they're
something
still
that never had a date?
We don't know how much longer it's going to
wild.
take. We just know it's going to take longer.
It's going to take a long time. And then that people kind of piece together, like, that's probably why they canceled BlizzCon, huh? It's because they didn't really have anything to show for these
Oh,
two
yeah.
new games, which are like their big two things they have to talk about.
You might be able to infer from this. So, like, you know, the thing they put out is like a update on our pipeline slide, and it says, while we are still planning to deliver a substantial amount of content from Blizzard next year, we are now planning for a later launch for Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 than originally envisaged. And so does that mean that those games are not even shipping in 22?
Yeah, I'm thinking 23.
Yeah, that's what that reads like to me. There's some wiggle room in the wording, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait another couple years to understand what Overwatch 2 is. And then right around the same time, one more piece of news out of Blizzard. Jen O'Neill, the co-leader, along with Mike, is it Ibarra?
Ibarra. Yeah,
Mike
Ibarra.
Ibarra, who were both appointed in August to kind of handle things. Jen has stepped down. She was originally brought on board because she was the head of Vicarious Visions, which Activision absorbed earlier into Blizzard. She put out a pretty standard statement, you know, talking about like, I am not doing this because I am without hope for Blizzard. Quite the opposite. Blah blah blah. Kind of like, you know, no, everything's fine over here. Just don't look behind me, but everything's fine over here. Trust me. Anyways, I'm out. But at the same time, Amy Dunham, a technical director at Blizzard, left, and in a series of tweets, kind of left a little more, had a little more fangs to it. Her statement talked about how Blizzard is a company that only had 3 women in leadership positions in game development. She says, this quote here, before you make commitments to recruit more women, usually at entry level where people have less access to turn down opportunities, figure out and fix why all of your senior women choose to leave. And I don't think you say something like that with that timing without kind of alluding to that maybe there was some other
smoke before the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, that's your weekly Blizzard check-in. Things continue to be a shit show.
Great.
Oh boy, easy segue that I'm not going to make. Ubisoft employee group launches new petition after none of its demands were met, is this headline from IGN. So this is kind of a standard process when there is an employee coalition like this. They usually come out and say like, hey, we have some demands. We would like you to meet these. And then if nothing happens, they will maybe start to step towards more formal, firm actions like walkouts, like talks of unionizations and stuff like that. So they had a list of key demands. The group is called Better Ubisoft. It was founded around the allegations of misconduct that came out from the last couple of years. They had a list here. These were their key demands. Stop promoting and moving known offenders from studio to studio, team to team with no repercussions. The cycle needs to end. We want a collective seat at the table to have a meaningful say in how Ubisoft as a company moves forward. Cross-industry collaboration to agree on a set of ground rules and processes that all studios can use to handle offenses in the future. And that this collaboration must heavily involve employees in non-management positions and union representatives. And they say that absolutely none of those have been met or even been kind of like talked about by anyone. And they put out a little email that looked like the "We're disappointed in you" Far Cry 6 email that we talked about last week. That is kind of directed at Yves Guillemot and other executive staff, talking about how they're disappointed in the company.
They don't give a shit. publicly traded company. The last thing they're going to do is start bending to unions without like any sort of force on the opposite side. Like it's
going to take more.
It sucks.
And they wanted, they wanted, players to sign this petition and stuff like that to try to build more of a case that Ubisoft needs to act on this stuff as a result of them not acting on this stuff. So it's frustrating, but not surprising.
Yeah. Come on, I got any upbeat news we got this week?
Yeah, what do we got? There's got to be some.
You want to talk about Marvel's Avengers?
Anyway, email.
Yeah, we can skip this last thing. I guess I'll just boil it down to one line. Square Enix had their earning call, and they said maybe it wasn't a good idea to have Crystal Dynamics, who kind of only worked on single player, non-game as service games, make this big old Avengers game. Weird. But it was definitely the right idea to make it games as a service. That was not the mistake they made sure to point out there.
Wow.
Jesus.
Fuck.
Throwing them under the bus. Just fucking.
Yeah, that's classic Square Enix right there. It's like, is it a Western studio that made a game? That's disappointing. It was really disappointing. Is it a Final Fantasy game? Oh, they just needed more time. It was worked out fine.
They even did it to Crystal Dynamics multiple times with Hitman or with
Tomb Raider
Tomb Raider sequel.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Dungeon encounters,
classic.
Though. That goes
Classic.
places.
They should break up. That's a bad, toxic relationship you guys got there.
It's pretty toxic.
Yeah, maybe Microsoft will pick them up and they can just do Perfect Dark games for the next 20 years.
Oh no! Which feat is worse?
Well,
I would probably take the Perfect Dark beat at this point.
Yeah.
Feels
All
like
right.
Popeye feels like fucking weeks ago.
Yes, seriously. I think I'm gonna go play that to feel better about myself.
I will say about Popeye,
Oh, no,
when
he's
you
doing
do jab or uppercut someone, it is kind of satisfying.
Don't fucking find the silver lining. What are you doing?
Really?
I can't help it. All right.
God, Jen. Enabler. Moving on is we'll take. Is that it, Ben?
Yeah,
We're done? All right,
it
we'll
was
do your
slow news week.
voicemails and your emails on the other side of this. My gosh, put the Popeye down.
What up, Keeps? It's like a goalie for your hair. That's what Keeps is here to help you keep the hair that you have. Did you know that 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35? It's true. And Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. It's online, so these are virtual doctor consultations, and the medications get delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't gotta go out and do stuff and see people. Blah. It can be low cost. Treatments start at just $10 a month, and Keeps offers generic versions to help keep those costs down. The packaging is discreet, the results are proven. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. Prevention is key. These treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act now, right? If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/bomb to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/bomb to get your first month free. keeps.com/bomb. Colorful underwear and socks delivered to your house? Could it be possible? It's true. Stance is making it a reality. Stance, they sent some socks over here that are very brightly colored, but if you're looking for something a little more incognito, they got no-shows. No-show socks, baby. They're back. They never left. What are you talking about? We're talking about Stance. Stance was founded in 2009, and Stance apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, t-shirts, and more. They're focusing on comfort, quality, and creativity to bring an atypical aesthetic alongside some of pop culture's hottest collaborators for the ultimate in style and self-expression. Because everything you wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel. If that's what you're looking for, right? You know? They got abstract designs. They got some licensed stuff. They got like the Wu-Tang Clan and Major League Baseball. Harry Potter. Everyone loves Harry Potter. Marvel, Pixar, Barbie. All of these brands could be on your feet. Or, I mean, they've got original stuff too. If you're just like, brands, get away. They sent over some more kind of abstract designs that, you know, you don't have to make your ankles look like a billboard if that's just not your thing, right? And they're socks. You wear them on your feet. They feel good. You put shoes on over the socks. Maybe you don't. I don't know. What are you doing? You staying home? You just looking for some socks for a little bit of heat around the feet? They got you. The Stance philosophy is that a perfect fit is more important than simply fitting in. And that those that feel good do good. Go see for yourself. Just head on over to stance.com and pick out whatever styles you like. Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance.
Hey, welcome
Honestly,
back to the show.
I'm not
What? I'm
interested
sorry,
in
Ben?
pepperoni if it's not a crispy cup. I'm not interested in pepperoni if it's not a crispy cup. I'm sorry.
What is a
that's a fair
crispy cup?
stance.
You know the little
Those little-
pepperonis that like
Little pepperonis that
curl
like have
up
all this.
and get the like
grease
crispy
in 'em?
edges on the top.
Oh, sure.
They're like
sure,
little
sure,
grease
sure, sure.
pockets.
Yeah, like a well
I
done
don't fuck.
pepperoni.
I don't fuck
get
with
it.
flat pepperoni. I'm sorry. I
Life
just-
is too
it's-
short for flat pepperoni, you're saying?
Yeah, I'd rather have a ham.
I disagree.
And I'm not even like a big ham guy.
See,
Whoa.
Ham.
Life is too long.
get behind
Eat
that.
more pepperoni.
I had, what did I have? I had, over the weekend, I had eggplant, prosciutto, and artichoke
Oh.
Oh, I would
on
fuck
a
with that.
pizza.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
trust
it's probably
anyone who
illegal.
likes eggplant.
we had like a big
Oh.
meat eaters pizza that was for the kids, and it had these little sausage, ground up little pellets
Sure.
essentially. And there
Sure.
was one kid who just like walked around the house eating this fucking thing and just left a sausage trail all over our goddamn living everywhere. We keep finding little bits of sausage. Thank you
Thanks, kid.
so much. Thanks, kid.
Danny firing shots at Derek Yu. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not an eggplant guy. I don't like fucking aubergines. They're just weird. They taste like ass. They look weird.
Yeah,
Yum.
well, guess what? Some of us like ass, Danny.
Yeah, number one, don't knock it till you tried it. Number two,
I've tried it. I've tried an
really?
aubergine.
Like, you never had fried eggplant? You never had eggplant parm?
Eggplant is like
farm.
the saddest piece of the vegetarian menu. That's when vegetarians kind of consider, you know what? Maybe I'll just eat some fucking meat. I don't want to have this
Who is
eggplant
that guy?
sandwich.
Who is this guy?
Eggplant.
I don't know. I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
Oh,
Start
all
talking
right.
about crispy
yeah.
cups.
You know what
I don't
else is
think
your
anyone
fault,
in
Ben?
the world like eggplant.
What else is my fault, Jan?
Yeah.
Well,
He's-
Mr. Bacalar,
playing
I'm going to
the-
toss this to you.
I thought you. That's quite the fake out.
Wow.
Well, you know,
Pass the parcel.
this is where like we talked about this bit last week. We're handing things. Remember?
Got it. So Ben, it turns out you parked that dump truck in a residential area. Okay.
Yeah,
Turns out
yeah.
you got nothing but parking tickets all over that windshield. They're piling up. It's probably impairing your vision driving that thing around town.
Yeah, I've run over
Right?
some things. I hope they weren't people.
So
Hope they were
what
eggplants.
if we took the voicemail dump truck and we said, okay, dump truck, look at you sitting there all pretty.
You want to load it up on another dump truck. You want to put the
Hey,
dump truck in a
Dumpy.
bigger dump truck.
What
More
if we
dump
put
trucks.
that? What if we made a dump truck sandwich? Right?
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
To fill out
We're
the
still
week.
talking about ass.
No, we're talking about giving the voicemail dump truck its own podcast.
What?
That's what we're talking about,
the
right?
hell are you talking about?
Wow. I
I'm
feel like
talking
I
about
should
taking
roll.
your dumpy ass and moving it to Thursday. That's what I'm talking
CTV
about.
night.
It needs its own podcast, baby. Let's go.
I mean, the after show was sometimes late, but I think fucking Thursday. That's quite a long time.
First of all, First of all, it's very hard to produce a podcast on a large scale if you've never done it before. There's some bumps in the road.
I would come running to the podcast studio.
Jan,
Ben
Jan, the buttons
slack me
turn
something.
it on.
Just
It's great.
Yeah.
You could still have your beeping sound. You could still have your backing up sounds, all that fun stuff. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring the voicemail dump truck. We're gonna call maybe it's Giant Bomb's voicemail dump truck. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Doesn't matter right now.
talking about ass still.
We're talking about
Still
ass.
talking about ass.
Again. Follow along. We've got dump truck sandwiches, dumpy asses, and you can't park that thing here. It's gotta go. It's gotta go on Thursday, baby. That's what
Wow.
we're saying. Thursday
Right.
is
So-
the new garbage day.
Let's just be absolutely clear about this. There is going to be a new podcast
Yes.
in the
Correct.
Giant Bomb family of podcasts. It
Correct,
is
yes.
maybe going to be called the voicemail dump truck.
Most likely, yes.
Most likely,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, it's going to be a spot for, I don't know, whatever people want to talk about, man.
Yeah, part of this was stirring up because I was thinking, like, you know what, I want to talk about some stuff occasionally that aren't maybe not a video game, but I don't want to derail like the whole podcast or derail UPF or a quick look just to talk about like the dumb movie that I watched, or like, hey, I'm reading this thing, or like, you know what, maybe I kind of do want to tell y'all about this stupid jump rope. And then, you know, the aftermath or voicemail dump truck segment is kind of the perfect place to put all this off-topic, extraneous things onto it. And also maybe stuff we additionally hate onto the voicemail dump truck. But the dump truck is
About that.
it's
never
always
be
it's always been a
negative.
place for love. But you know,
Wait. Oh, no, you can keep going.
but plenty of space to dump.
Yeah. So, you know, some video game stuff, plenty of not video game stuff. Your calls, eventually here. We'll start with your voicemails for sure. But
Oh, I have a question.
Yes,
Yes, Ben, go ahead.
you, Mr. Dumpman.
Is the podcast going to have a loose time frame or
No, buddy.
No. You
got a
silly,
tight
silly
dump truck
boy.
here.
Yeah. We only got the keys to the voicemail dump truck, so we're planning on keeping this to a tight-ish 60 to 90 minute time frame. And you know, we'll call. That's how we're starting it. Or thinking about it, and hopefully we can keep it to 60 to 90.
You only get
on your-
this chance once or 15 times in your life. So this is it. This is the chance to reel it in.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be helping kick that off, moving off of. I'm not going to be on the Bombcast anymore. This is my final Bombcast, and I'm going to help out with the kind of handing over the keys there, and then at some point my home planet will need me again, and I will be gone, but not forever. I'll come back and say hi once in a while.
Most
Yeah,
certainly.
nice.
And of course, we all thank you for your work. We know it was not a lot. It was a lot to jump into this like you did. So thank you for doing that.
I'm going to call the
timing and all
number
that.
on the back of your truck there and give you a good review.
Thank you. How was my
That's my
podcast?
pie.
How's my dumping? Right? So yeah, I guess like, you know, straight up, we kind of didn't know how long this would last, right? With you coming on, and like,
Yeah.
I'm just jazzed that we get more Ben. So that's pretty great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know,
And I
look, you got the
believe you
keys to that
wanted-
dump truck, so it's
I
you know,
believe you
where
wanted
it goes, we follow.
people to call in. There may be, you know, we're still working out the kinks, but the idea of having kind of a theme for voicemails every week. And I remember you were talking about maybe asking people if they had a better name than voicemail dump truck, though I don't think it could be possible.
They could try. I don't know if they're going to be better. But
fair.
yes, I think the spirit of what we're attempting to do here is sort of having the notion of interactivity be that sort of rotating chair sort of host in this show, which could be a lot of fun and help us sort of shape and drive what that feels like. So I'm excited about that, and we are going to have a lot of fun there, I hope.
And I just also real quick want to give a sincere thank you to everyone, both you guys and the audience, for having me back. It's been really fun. In a lot of ways, my time at Giant Bomb was sort of a training period, my whole career in a sense, and then I was finally fully able to come back and really realize myself as a podcaster for 8 weeks or whatever. But yeah, thank you for the kind words. It was really nice hearing from all the folks, all the fans again.
It's like Jay-Z, we're retiring your jersey twice.
Hell yeah, up to the rafters it goes. So the number is the same, right? We really did some crunching.
They figured it out. This wasn't
We almost
easy.
had a really good one.
Minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were straight up Indiana Jones ducking under that, cement wall, closing in on the whole thing.
The new number would have been pretty good, though.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
would have been
Yeah.
all right. We had some candidates, but hey, like all things,
Turns out
They
all the
sorta just-
619 numbers just get swooped up.
Yeah.
that's it. Don't they always?
Fucking
Don't they always?
robocallers.
Rey Mysterio.
One
So
and the same.
yeah, we're gonna aim to have the first episode of that on Monday, and then that will likely be a Thursday show moving on. So that is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you will all join us on that wacky dump truck adventure.
Are you going to use the music Ben made as the theme song?
We have to. We're still
Might
working
be
out
the
the rights.
remix.
He's a stickler.
Yeah.
He's a stickler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
Music licensing is a whole nother thing.
he's playing it. He's playing it tough. Let me tell you.
We got
he's
another.
playing it
We got
tough.
another theme song we could use. If we need another
Yeah.
theme song. Yeah, another good
Strong.
aftermath,
I missed that one.
post show kind of theme song. A little something. A little something.
See, this is called
see.
strategy. There, Ben. We're showing you just a little bit of the hand here, baby.
Yeah.
I'm catching on. But we still have one more week of voicemails.
Hell yeah.
Voicemail dump trick.
There it is.
Voicemail dump trick.
Yeah.
Voicemail dump trick.
Back it up.
Voicemail dump trick.
This baby can fit so many voicemails in it.
Nice.
Wow, look at that.
What's that run on? What you
Which-
running there?
Which bin?
It's a big truck.
What color?
Ah.
Is it recycling? Is that the regular? Is it the compost?
Yeah, this is the compost because these voicemails are shit. Kick it off, Jan.
I was going to say I had a boss at one point that would film garbage trucks and just follow them around housing developments.
Yeah, that's super weird.
To what end?
What end?
Very weird. What?
What,
This one is
why?
called Centaur
Hey,
organs.
Tom, I have a question. How do the organs in a centaur work? Like, do they have, like, horse-sized organs or human-sized? And are they, like, spread out between the two halves, or is the human half just horse-sized blood vessels and a brain on the top? I'm
fuck.
confused. Thanks.
Fuck me. What are we doing?
Was that clopping in the background?
I don't know if
that
was
was
that a
his
centaur
turning
calling
signal.
in.
It was his signal. It was his turn signal, I think. But yes,
I
Could-
think he's a
for the
centaur.
purposes of this voicemail, he was doing some equestrian shit. While
Okay,
asking,
I think that it's they're slightly larger up top but bigger on the bottom because like the top, it's not just always a regular human sized top half. It's a little bit larger,
Right.
And it's kind of like a little bit. This just kind of flows throughout the body, and so they're a little bit smaller up top, but they get bigger as they go, depending on what organ it is. So it's kind of a
we're just to be clear, we're talking about the centaurs that are like human top, horse bottom, right?
bottom,
Because
yeah.
because if you
Not
reverse
the-
that, it's a lot funnier, I think. if you
Yeah,
just
and that's a
flip
lot.
those
But that's
around.
also I think it's also plainly obvious how organs work in a horse top, human bottom centaur sort of situation. Like
Correct.
there's no
Right.
question
Horse
there.
brain,
So
human,
as-
everything else.
yeah,
as much as we want it more than the traditional centaur. Yes.
I don't think we've played this one.
Okay, so food crime. You take like hamburger, but like you like cook it in a pan, like you're making like tacos or like hamburger helper or whatever, just not patties. And then you put that in like a hot dog bun or like a long roll, like a hoagie roll or something. The question is like, what toppings. You go all American with your, ketchup and mustard, whatever. Do you do nacho cheese, wasabi? I don't know. Go crazy.
That's just the chopped cheese, baby.
Hey,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
what
Mike.
you need. Whoa, okay. I didn't realize. No, yeah, that's chopped. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's just like, that's it. There's no other way around it, right?
Did he
Now, for-
explain
for
what
a-
mincemeat is by just saying hamburger but not in a patty? Was that what he was trying to explain?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just ground beef.
Just ground beef.
Just ground
Okay.
beef.
It's just like a cheesesteak almost. Like I don't know what to say.
Deconstructed hamburger.
This isn't
Yeah.
a crime. This is a food
No, this is-
fine.
This is
It's a
progress.
it's
Yeah, that's fine.
a
So here's how you
law-abiding
frame it up.
food.
You put peanut butter on there.
Oh,
What?
boy.
That's
Well, Jason
I
likes
think
peanut
that's-
butter on a burger.
Hell yeah. Hell
I've seen
yeah.
him order that.
lock,
that's
lock,
good.
I mean,
lock up.
Wait, when you talk about peanut butter on a hamburger, you're not talking about like scooping out some Skippy. Isn't it like fancy
Oh sure,
peanut
yeah,
butter?
absolutely, yeah. Just spread it on there. Big thick layer.
Spread it
Absolutely.
on.
I'm gonna do that next time I have a burger. That's actually sounds
Dude,
alright.
it's good.
It's
Yeah, I'm sure that's
Nuts-
fine.
nuts or
not
no
the
nuts?
jelly. Not the jelly.
No,
Nuts or no nuts? Wait,
you could go that route.
I've had a
but-
PB&J burger once that was all right. I think it was at like
Yeah.
PAX or something.
I mean, peanut
don't need
butter,
it.
a peanut butter bacon cheeseburger, I could fuck with that right this second.
Throw some banana in there, and you've got Fat Elvis,
whoa.
as it's
Oh
known,
shit! And then
down
why
here in
not put the
Atlanta.
fried egg on it while we're at it? I mean,
right?
What about a pickle in the hot dog with the ground beef?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 dude, that's
Sign
what
me up.
relish
Yeah.
is. Like relish is just pickle shit. So
Just pickle shit.
it's just
Alright.
pickle shit.
I love pickle
Cheese
shit.
on top, so you don't have to think
This
about it.
is just an informative voicemail, but I just wanted to let you know that, like, if you're not using the apps for various fast food companies to pre-order your food and then go and pick it up, you are just a schmuck, unfortunately. I hate to tell you that. But
I respect that.
just went to Taco Bell and used the app for the first time, and I'm telling you, like, you can get your food in a few minutes. Like, I got it in like 5 minutes as opposed to I'm not even joking, 40-minute wait in a drive-through. So
40
use
minutes.
your apps, folks. Use them if you got them. Thank you. Bye.
Did this
Spending
guy
more than
turn up?
fi- Yeah.
The logic here is that he turned up 40 minutes after he did the order. Then, because like the
No.
fucking ordering didn't make it 40 minutes. Like if he
Well, he's
turned
saying-
up on a busy
guess he's
day,
saying,
it's
like,
gonna
he's
take
been
40
in a-
minutes.
Yeah, he's saying
He's
if you
been-
don't
been-
use the app, you're going to wait 40 minutes
Yeah,
for fast
yeah.
food.
But that's absurd because then
Yes,
that,
it
that
is.
means that the wait is based on them getting the order and not making the food.
Yeah. So
why-
what you could do is you could just pull into the pickup spot and then place the order once you're there. Because the thing you run into is like, oh, I don't want to, because if you get that wrong, then they make the food 40 minutes ago and it's sitting there waiting for you to get there, or something stupid like that, and it's garbage.
Right. Right.
So you kind of have to weigh that part of it out a little bit too. But like labor's weird. I don't know. I don't know how many fast food lines you're going through lately. But I feel like they are all longer
Yes.
between people's,
absolutely.
there is still a pandemic, and so people are not going into restaurants, and then also every place is shorthanded and all this other stuff. Like, it's getting
I've
brutal out
definitely
there.
waited 40 minutes for In-N-Out. I've done it.
There's a Starbucks near here that is routinely that
Packed.
type of wait at their drive-through because it's just slammed. And it's just like a zillion cars. Every time you drive by it, you're like, who would do this? There's like 9,000 cars sticking out of this thing.
I will say, my partner and I, we went and got tacos at a place that Rory recommended. We checked out, handed a dude our order ticket. He grabbed a handful of steak, chopped it up, gave us like 12 tacos in like 3 minutes.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's pretty
Oh.
tight. They didn't have an app. The name of the restaurant is very confusing because it's @.com, and it
What?
doesn't go anywhere. It's delicious. Oh my god, the salsa is still burning.
.com.
It's I forget the first part of it, but the salsa is still burning a hole in my stomach as we speak. I still don't
Excellent.
feel good.
Is it Kim.com?
No.
Yep.
This new chain.
Kim.com's making you, and Drake is there too. There a lot of video game talk. The whole thing.
I got to tell you though, it is a super baller move to just be able to walk into a place and say, "Yeah, here's my order number." You know, just bypass the line completely and get your tacos. It's a good feeling.
Do they all do that now? All the fast food chains have
Most
apps?
of them.
Totally, yeah. And you can get a
they'll,
lot of free
usually
shit
offer
from those
you,
too.
Like, get a free taco when you get the Taco Bell app, or get a free burger when you get the Burger King app, just so they can start
Interesting.
sending you those push notifications and get you
Yo.
thinking.
Yo,
I like the idea of being able to plot out exactly what I want in an app, and as opposed to giving it to a person who maybe
Yeah.
mishears it or enters it incorrectly and stuff like that. It's not to say that
Then
my
you don't
orders
have
are
to talk
100%
to
right.
anyone. That's great.
Yeah.
It's especially
but
good for like my partner who's vegetarian and often wants to replace things or omit things.
Right. It
my
seems
God.
like it would eliminate some element of like lost in translation, human error sort of stuff.
When I used to be a PA, like my number one duty was taking down lunch orders and then having to call the place to order them prior to them opening. App-based ordering would have made my life so much easier. It would have saved a bunch of yelling being thrown at me because I didn't get someone's soup or this person didn't have the right meat in their pad thai.
This bread bowl is square shaped.
God damn it, Jared.
And they just throw it in your face. That's
Hey, if
crazy.
you guys were the bouncer for the Gates of Heaven, I can't remember. I think there's an official name for that guy. I can't remember it.
St. Peter.
We get it. Yeah.
But if you were the bouncer, what are the two things that you would not let someone in for? Two traits, two things they liked. It's up to you. All right. Thanks.
Have they
We're all
ever
gonna say the
purchased
same
an
thing.
NFT?
Hey, if you guys were
Yeah.
Yeah, empty your pockets. How many NFTs are in there? Sorry.
How many JPEGs do you own, son?
Sorry. This escalator goes down. There you go.
Have you played Popeye?
On the Switch.
Sorry,
Got-
Jan. Jeff, you deserve it. Sorry, Jan.
Got
Haven't
really
we
excited
suffered
when they
enough?
said the bouncer and then just quickly
I
let
know,
down.
I saw it in your eyes.
Yeah.
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 It's going places.
Whether or not they played the bouncer, that's one of my qualifiers. Yeah.
If you've ever intentionally fed in a game of Dota 2, you're going to hell, buddy. Sorry.
Wow.
All right.
Sega
that's
fans.
harsh.
I don't know. That's Sonic the Hedgehog fans.
That's
Oh,
two for me
no.
now. I'm going straight
Yeah.
to hell.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hey, this is Nate from Tumwater, Washington. Is gum candy?
That is not
Sorry, I
Nathan.
spoke over it, but it's not Nathan.
It's not Nathan and it's not candy.
Why?
Gum.
No, it's in the
Because
candy section
it's-
though.
It is, but it's like I guess
It's still
mints
kind
are
of
more
segregated
candy.
though.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, let's
gum
break
you
it
don't
out.
eat. You
Yeah, break it out.
extract
It's
like
gum- it's
very
gum
minimal
food.
calories from it. You extract minimal amounts of calories from it, right? There is
do you think
sugar
that's
in
Diet
some
Coke
of it.
is a
Bacalar.
is a drink, and you get no calories from that. Well, I guess water
Yes,
is
you
too.
certainly
so.
do. What's that?
All right, I'm out.
Would you say, Ben?
Is gum food?
No,
No.
Why not?
because like,
It's edible.
but again, the minimal amount of like caloric extraction taking place in that transaction is
Well,
fucking.
it's like saying that celery isn't food.
No, it is. I
It's
mean,
like saying
like
toothpaste isn't food.
Here's a comparison. What about
not
like
food. Toothpaste
chewing
is not
tobacco?
food.
Chewing
Toothpaste
tobacco
is
is
not
not a food, right? Chewing
No, of
tobacco is
course
not a food.
not.
But you're doing the
course
same thing with gum.
Broken
You're just
glass.
chewing.
Is that a food?
If you need
No.
it to be, I recommend against it.
Chewing tobacco is a candy, of course.
Well, yeah, no one's gonna argue with that. I mean,
Yeah, Big League
no,
Chew
gum
and
is
chewing
not
tobacco are the
food.
exact
Right.
same thing.
Like if you were stranded and you had to survive and you only had fucking cartons of Trident gum, you would fucking die. If you had
But you
celery,
would die slightly
could
faster if you
easily-
didn't have the gum.
You
Right?
might die faster. if you have
Okay,
it.
I mean, sure,
Calories.
like, I don't know, but it's certainly not food.
Okay.
Hey, Bombcast. I'm currently sitting here eating breakfast, contemplating quitting my job and customer.
Oh no, we did this already. Sorry.
You should do
Who's
it.
the buffest or maybe scrappiest video game character you think you could take in a fight?
Scrappiest, huh?
Or buffest.
Or buffest. Rainbow Mika.
I think I could. I think I
probably
could
kick
kill
her ass.
Luigi.
Yeah, you think so?
He's that
Rainbow Mika.
scrappy.
Oh, you think you could take Rainbow Mika?
I think so. But she's got a partner. That kind of sucks.
She's a pro wrestler, dude.
She's a pro wrestler. She's not a very good wrestler.
Wow.
Ooh, shots fired. She's
boy.
gonna come for you now, bro.
Oh boy, I don't
Shit.
want that fight. I don't want that heat.
Yeah, I know Luigi isn't buff. That's my point. Like
But
that's
he's
about the
scrappy.
tier I could take. He is scrappy.
So what about like Master Chief out of the suit? You know, just a
who
part of
knows
a
what
blob, or
that
you know,
is.
like the actuators of that suit do all the moving.
Yeah.
Guy's muscles have completely atrophied.
Yeah, it's probably
Fuck
just
that
like
guy up.
fucking. It's probably just like fucking Topher Grace in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking
I don't know who
bullshit.
this is the
Hey
bigger
guys,
dig
it's me,
against.
the Master Chief.
It's some fucking bullshit. Just like 150 pounds soaking wet. No, you fine. I'll take him on.
Popeye.
Bring her
You've seen those
spinach.
forearms, man.
No,
Yeah.
no
Those
spinach.
forearms ain't right.
No spinach.
Yeah.
No spinach.
Vanilla Popeye.
Vanilla Popeye. Yeah.
Right. Who would win, Batman versus Prep or Popeye with spinach?
No, this is gonna work its way into that game.
What
Yeah,
do you
stop
think?
it.
Gordon Freeman. You think he's probably just
Yeah.
like
I think he's got
Nerd.
some. I think he's jacked. He appears to be jacked.
he's like secretly jacked.
He's like
Yeah, I feel like
he's
anytime
in
you see those-
shape, the way like a scientist
Yeah.
would be. Like I
Like
work
the
out.
old, like
you know,
when you
like,
see those buff old guys, you know, you're like, how's that old guy so buff? That's
Yeah,
fine.
he's not like a Hugh Jackman, but he's like
Right.
you could tell he works out. He works out.
Okay. What about two more voicemails?
Okay.
Hi, this is Danny from San Jose. I just got done with California Extreme, and it made me wonder, as someone who enjoys retro gaming, are there actually good retro games, or is it just my rose-tinted glasses? Thank you.
The age-old question.
I think some stand up, but like you're not always going to get them to compare well against completely modern games and the modern expectations of current day players, right? You look at a lot of Flash games, a lot of early mobile games, like they were trying to replicate a lot of arcade-like experiences, and they were still fun, even though they were janky as fuck. And so I think a lot of arcade games work really great on that level, like compare it incredibly favorably to a lot of very addictive games from, or like very well thought of games from that mobile and kind of Flash era. But some of them I think just stand up on their own, you know, like a Pac-Man or a Tetris, or like just the mechanics still work.
Right. I was going to shout out Tetris and Pac-Man. Exactly those two. Like those are two video games that I think you could put in front of a like 15-year-old for the first time today who's played other video games, and they might get bored or whatever, but like
sure,
they translate. Like those games are fun, I think, and will be for the rest of time. But like even like a game like Mario 1, like the original Mario, like I still enjoy playing it, and it's proven itself as like a very influential game, but like I don't think it really holds up, right?
Yeah, I wonder if it's like to do with the, you know, there are genres where we have progressed in some way.
Yeah.
But there are some genres that are kind of like they peaked or they hit a dead end. Like when I'm playing NBA Jam, like that game, it's not like I'm pining for a modern, it's not like I'd play that or NBA, you know, 2K,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like it's,
Sure,
like
sure,
that's,
sure.
that is what it is. And like maybe TE is like a better version of that. But like, that's like, it plays really good. And I'm not like longing for a better version of it. The same way with Tetris
Right.
or something.
And
Yeah,
it does that
and
thing
when-
so well. Like NBA Jam, I think NBA Jam's a really good example because there is a certain flow. The sauce there is just so sweet, is it not? Like that's the, you know, I think anyone from any generation can find a way to appreciate that. I've had a similar thing with that 2-on-2 midway hockey game where it's just
Right, yeah.
oh, it's doing that thing. It's scratching that itch. It's giving me those funny feelings like that. The sauce there is real nice. Real nice.
Yeah, when EA got the license and made a new NBA Jam, they made it like the old NBA Jam. They didn't go like, oh, let's do something totally different, the way Acclaim did, and they fucked the whole thing up. But yeah, like that formula still works.
I fucking hate NBA Jam.
Really?
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because I was in a Blockbuster World Video Game Championship. I was in the state finals.
No, really?
okay.
By a fucking 8-year-old in NBA Jam.
Shattered past. I didn't realize. Okay.
And I can't stand that game now.
Do you remember that 8-year-old?
It,
We can find him.
I do. I know what he looks like.
I will
done
say
the
a
research.
loss
I know where you
in
live.
NBA Jam is like one of the worst losses. It's like because it's so hard. Every point is you fight for it. Every miss stings. It always feels, even if you're like 7 or 8 points ahead, it always feels like I'm just 2 bad plays away from this being real fucking bad. And then no matter what, because of the rubber banding in that game, it always comes down to the last minute. It's just
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Just like real basketball.
I hate you, NBA Jam.
Yeah, turn on tournament mode. Turn all that shit off.
From Las Vegas.
I should. You're
I
right.
went over to a girl's house once to watch a movie, and ahead of time she told me, hey, don't worry. I'll have snacks ready when you get here, so don't bother bringing anything. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got there, and she had a bowl of spaghetti with no sauce and some tortilla chips. But she insisted I scrape butter off of a thing of butter. Like it wasn't melted butter. I wasn't dipping it. It was just like a stick of butter. Those were the snacks. What's up with that?
Oh no! This is why it's getting its own podcast because I want
Mario,
we have
quick.
to make the... No,
What is up with that?
You could have died.
Could you imagine being that guy? Like, what would you do if you walked into someone's place and they're like, "I made snacks," and they hand a fucking bowl of
need an age check.
spaghetti
With no
What?
sauce. Okay, just
What?
in case anyone missed it, the
It is
snacks
butter.
were a bowl of spaghetti with no sauce and tortilla chips with a stick of butter, and you were encouraged to scoop the butter with the tortilla chips.
Butter up that
What?
chip.
I know that like buttered noodles are a thing, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, for
You are not allowed to
6-year-olds.
put the butter. You are not allowed to put the butter in the noodles. Those are only for the chips.
Like, it's if you put it in a bowl, you're implying that it's somehow like a finger food too. So you just go on in with your finger and just grab yourself a freaking pile of spaghetti and then just I don't know, like cup it. What do you?
Put it on the chip, and then squeeze a little butter on there.
It's just
Good to
like
go.
I don't think. Can you even
That's a
like?
full
You're gonna have to
meal.
wait like 30 minutes for that butter to chill out, right? Because like a stick of butter, it's hard to.
Scrape.
Once you got
You-
thick chips,
Honestly,
it's-
I'm
Right.
pretty sure my reaction would be like I would like I'd see it and I'd laugh
Yeah.
and be like, okay,
Yeah.
really where like,
That's funny. Give me the chips.
The wildest part is that she had an out. He was willing
Yeah.
to bring snacks, and she was like, "No,
Yeah.
I've got this
No.
sorted, mate. Don't
like,
worry
"Don't
about
you
it. You're
worry
gonna
yourself."
You're gonna wait till you see the fucking plate I'm putting out for you.
Man,
I've worked on this
I
all
hope-
day."
I hope our buddy didn't take his jacket off yet before seeing those chips, because I would have been like, I'm not feeling so well. My stomach hurts. I gotta go.
I've
No,
already
you
seen
got
this
you got to
movie.
stick around. At that point, you got to know. At that point, you're like, I
Yeah.
need to know what else
Yeah.
is going on here.
Yeah.
I need to
You're
get
like,
all the way into this situation.
What's for dessert?
18 months or so, and then
Don't worry about the movie. Tell me what's going on here. Like, what was the thinking there?
like, was it a test? Was she kidding? Was she like, if he eats this, then he's an idiot, or like what?
I
Was
like
she-
that idea actually.
Was she
yeah,
hosting
yeah.
a prank show this whole time, or
Right.
Or she like they didn't. She like she asked him out, but then like, oh, maybe I don't want to.
Oh, yeah, maybe this
Yeah.
was her get out card. She was
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I don't want
Yeah.
him to come over.
Sabotage.
I really want to hear the story though. I really want to hear like where it went. If it was he just polite and was like, okay, I'll do like chip spaghetti, or
Stick of butter
like,
involved.
what else?
You know
What else
where it went.
happened?
Yeah, she came out afterwards with dessert, just 2 cans of whipped cream, and was like, "You want to stick this in your mouth?"
I mean, that's more reasonable than her fucking snacks. I mean,
yes, I do. Yes.
Do you think he got like a separate bowl to put his spaghetti in, or was it like a shared
That's what I'm
spaghetti
saying.
bowl? Also, was it
a
cold?
shared-
Was it hot?
In my head, it's cold. I don't know.
That's such a difficult food to eat while you're not looking at it. Like the only prerequisite of a movie food is that you can kind of eat it without having to look down. Whereas fucking spaghetti is just okay.
And it
Maybe
like
that's why I don't know
moves by
sauce.
itself. It's crazy. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh man, I don't think there's topping. These voicemails won't top that one. That was
All right.
that
That's
was
why we
something
need
else.
a new show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we can get back to good old fashioned emails on this show the way the good Lord intended.
He said it.
It's purest form. It's purest form.
I've got a couple emails assembled here today. I'll just read a couple of them off right now. First batch here, Ben, are actually directed to you. I have David from Vancouver. I have a suggestion for Ben's news transitions. Get Jan or someone else to say something that sounds like the news section is over. Okay. Is that it? We're done. Then Ben says one more thing and proceeds with the next news story. A worse idea. Act like you suddenly notice the stories are physically around you. Oh, look at that. Whoa. I've just seen that. I see that up there. If I'm reading that right. Thanks, Dave, from Vancouver. Another suggestion.
Columbo.
Maybe she was allergic to like a lot of things, like a lot of foods, and like couldn't have like a spaghetti sauce or like a,
Maybe she can only eat yellow food.
So
yeah.
There's no bananas.
There's a yellow. You could just get mac and cheese. Shay writes
This email sounds like my fucking father suggested these things. Like, you know what you do? You know what you do when you're looking for the transition? Like, not to
Imagine they're
dunk on
around
David
you.
in Vancouver.
Yeah,
That's
exactly what
great
you're
timing.
And you-
Also,
Not to
Grab
dunk
it out
on
of
you.
the air.
Proceeds to dunk on you.
Shay writes.
Yeah, it's funny.
Suggestion: Scream next. Jeremy writes in, what if Ben said newsing on between news stories instead of moving on? And then Joe K writes in, yo, Ben and Giant Bomb crew, fun suggestion for moving on to the next news story. Give a deep sigh, then mumble, any fucking way, next story. Then you want to try that?
these are all
We could
really
have
good
used that
ideas.
this week.
Yeah, it's kind of too late here, but I wish maybe you told Ben all
we
these
could cut this out though.
before.
We could
And then
cut
we
this
could've
out
done?
and then play whatever Ben decides
Go
in
back
between
and
each news
post.
story.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
you're
gotcha,
editing
gotcha.
it, so-
Yeah. Ben, can you give a deep sigh, then mumble any fucking way next story?
Any fucking way.
That was good.
All
There's
right.
a big build
Wow.
up.
Okay.
But yeah.
I got large.
Strong.
To get a real,
your ringtone.
I got large lungs. I always,
Yeah.
so I can hold my breath for a really long time. So to get a real
People
deep
say that
sigh,
about you.
it takes some
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's
Is
because
that
the
for real?
rest, the horse lungs he has.
Yeah, I have the horse lungs and human pancreas.
How's the
Oh yeah,
is it
it's
horse?
All right. Newsing on. Another
damn,
Jeff
thank you, Jan.
from Chatham.
I do a little horsing around here and there.
Chatham, Ontario. Hello, my dudes. I was wondering if Jeff G is still using Bing and Microsoft Rewards. In the last year, I've gone all in on them and have over $100 in points by doing my daily searches, Game Pass, Quest, etc. It's actually a pretty great game discovery tool. Jeff G, have you redeemed your points or are you saving them? What have you bought? What's your point total?
I guess I'm saving them. I can open up the start. It just shows them on the start menu of Windows 11 now, I think. Or no, I got to go into the settings. No, where do I go? It used to show them.
I would get an email every now and again.
Oh, here we go.
And I would just click
have
that.
61,849 rewards points.
What? What's that
What does
worth?
that like? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's click here. Link to
1,500
rewards. Search to earn. Give with Bing. Play to earn. No, show me what can I get with the stuff. I gotta sign
Play
in.
to
I
earn.
can't. I forget how much it is, but you can. That's probably a number of months of like Game Pass Ultimate or something like that. That's probably a few months of that or something around there. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Ben in Boston writes, "Hi all. What is your favorite pre-release code name for a console or game? I always like Dolphin. On the
I
other
was
hand,
just gonna say Dolphin.
what are some of the worst?"
Dolphin's good.
Thanks, Ben in Boston.
Katana's pretty good.
Katana's real good.
Which
What was that
Durango?
again? What was
I like
Durango?
Durango.
Orbis was probably pretty bad.
Yup.
Revolution was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I kind of like
Wait,
it.
wait, what was Katana? Danny,
Saturn, right?
Saturn?
Oh, is that what that was? Okay. Revolution was GameCube. No, it was Wii, was it?
No,
Wii.
it's Wii.
Which
It's better
like,
than Wii. Maybe.
it is better than Wii, and it like the Wii did revolutionize a lot of things for like how Nintendo would move forward. So like it ended up being pretty good, but like as a name for a thing, I don't like it.
Yeah. Katana is Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still sounds pretty cool though.
Katana.
Yeah, I don't remember any others.
There was one that I remember recently being like, oh, they should have just kept the name that.
There we go.
What was that?
Was the
I'll throw- I can
Was
throw
it an
some out
Xbox
here.
one?
what was Xbox One X? The Xbox One X before they called it that.
It was like
had a-
Scarlet? Or something
Yeah.
like
No,
Yeah.
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yeah.
Here's some that I just found. The Atari 2600 was known as the Stella. The Atella Project Reality for the N64.
Oh, right. Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
So
The
bad.
Game Boy Advance.
64.
The Game Boy Advance was known as the Atlantis.
That's not
Xbox was Mars with a Z. Xbox 360
Oh.
was the Xenon with an X.
Oh.
Nitro for the Nintendo DS.
Nitro. Oh, weird.
These all just sound like wrestling shows.
Yeah, or like American Gladiators.
American Gladiators.
Okie dokes, folks. I got a this or that here, and we were talking
great.
about heaven earlier. So this works out that it's a deal with the devil here. Burton from Colorado writes in, "Hey Bombcast, the devil's offering a deal for you. He'll get rid of COVID. Okay, he'll get rid of COVID completely, but you have to make some sacrifices. You'll still have memories of all these things, but they just won't exist moving forward. Which of these do you sacrifice?" Okay. Thanksgiving or 4th of July?
4th of July.
4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July.
Yep.
Fucking both.
I mean, it's give
Come
it
on.
enough time, it'll get rid of itself anyway. But yeah, like,
It's like Thanksgiving. It's like I can eat any day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be some
Thanksgiving.
specific Thursday.
I guess the day off is nice. The long weekend is nice. And the football.
Yeah.
All right.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a good
right.
family.
Get rid of Black Friday. Get rid of Black Friday. Keep Thanksgiving.
Okay, which one are we sacrificing? Hot dogs or burgers?
Hot dogs in a
Hot
second.
dogs.
Kidding me. Get rid of that.
I guess it's got to be hot dogs. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
It's a real
Burgers.
quandary for the emailer. They're going to have trouble with this one.
Burgers.
wow, Ben. Because if
100%.
we get rid of 4th of July, you're already getting rid of the hot dog eating contest. So
Yeah.
Oh,
save
so
every
you're
job.
right.
Plan.
What about the
This,
Thanksgiving
this
hot
is now
dog?
canon. What?
Get rid of
That's your
burgers, and then we can eat the ground meat in a tube, like the other guy said. It's fine.
I do like a
It's win-win.
turkey dog. I do like a turkey dog.
Okay.
Doggo
okay.
dog.
Baseball hats or flip flops?
Flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
Yeah.
Flops.
Very personally invested in that, so let's get rid of flip flop.
Fist bumps or high fives?
Oh, I'll take them
High fives.
Bumps.
Yeah,
Those are-
in
yeah,
that-
Bumps were always stupid.
I think
but
so,
even in our
too.
COVID situation,
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
rather
sure they're
give-
safer
I'm-
or whatever, but like they're both dumb. But like fist bumps are just look like
What about the
jack-offs
elbow
when you do
bumps?
that
Jeff,
stuff. It looks
Jeff,
stupid.
we're on the same hockey team, and you score. We go up to each other and just stare at each other. That's what we're just gonna do. We're just gonna stare at each
Fuck
other.
yeah. And
Yeah.
say
We
fuck yeah,
scored, we
bro,
won.
and then you say fuck yeah, bro, and then we go back to playing hockey.
We just bang. We just headbutt each
Yeah,
other.
you
just
bang
bang.
heads or
Yeah.
you hug. I don't know.
Ben, you were
Slap
trying to
asses.
ask?
Yeah, does dapping somebody up count as a fist bump?
Yeah, that's a fist bump.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And high
Yeah.
fives.
Yeah, get rid of them.
This is a interesting one. Pre-sliced bread or pre-sliced cheese? Bread.
Pre-sliced.
Oh, this is almost like a puzzle.
Pre-sliced cheese. Oh, any cheese you get that's pre-sliced is shitty cheese.
Not true.
Yeah.
Kraft
true.
singles or something.
No.
No,
We
slices
go
of
to
any
deli.
cheese.
You go to Deli Gang and you get that Land O'Lakes
Deli
thinly
Gang?
sliced yellow American. And
You
that's
just buy a block of cheese, you bring it home, you go, and you do the little thing, and that's it. Or you use it with a
what
knife.
are you, Adam Sandler?
You can use the same logic with bread, right?
Yeah.
It's
I
harder
think
than
it's easier to
I
cut bread.
I can't dizaba with bread. I can't do that.
bread.
I can do it with cheese.
But then
I'm not gonna be able to pawn this off as a European thing either. I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
Okay, moving on. Emojis
it.
or question marks?
Emojis.
Get rid of emojis.
No, man. Get rid of
I
question
need
marks.
a question mark.
Yeah, I gotta say, we did a whole episode of the Very Online Show, and whether you like it or not, emojis are very much like accepted language now.
That's fucking
The
weird.
world throughout. So, I don't know. I feel like gotta
Do we
let go
still
of
get the question
marks.
mark emoji if we get rid of
Oh, yeah.
question marks?
I think
Yeah, okay.
so.
Oh,
I
then
think
there we
so.
go. It's a win. It's a win poll.
It's like 1 or 1,000,000, right? Like,
All right, and the last one here is hockey pucks or basketballs with a
fuck outta
qualifier.
here with this.
Note, those sports can still be played, but you will need an alternate device.
Let me
I mean,
think.
you could get away with playing basketball with like, I don't know, a fucking volleyball or a soccer ball if you
can't.
really had to.
No, they don't bounce the same.
Yes, but like, how do you replace a puck? It's very
With a
unique.
triangle. With a
It's
little
not, it's not
triangle.
about
tennis
the
ball.
There you
It's
go.
about the hockey stick, isn't it?
The
Or the
puck
puck.
is like 10 times more replaceable, Mr. Hockey.
With what? It's a very
Any
specific
stick?
thing.
Yeah,
no, that
skull.
will
Yeah.
shatter and break. Pucks don't break. That's the thing. You can't put a
cool
can of
orb.
Tape it
tuna.
up.
Can't,
Gotta
no.
hit them not as hard. That's a new sport now.
Oh, yeah.
No,
gotta
that
get
sounds
some
More
terrible.
finesse.
You get a red card for spilling the tuna.
It's about finesse now. It's not about brute force.
The whole ice rink is just covered in fucking tuna at the end of the third period. It's
Yes.
just a disaster.
At least it stays fresh.
Great.
And then feral cats descend and eat the losing team as well as all the fish.
First the cats, then the Zamboni. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that Zamboni just like scooping up all that tuna.
Oh, that place will smell horrific.
Delicious. How do you feel about
hate
one more
tuna.
email, huh?
Sure.
One more
Alright.
email.
One more.
All right.
Quick one.
Dear gaming experts of Giant Bomb, I've recently been revisiting some fine ZX Spectrum and Amiga games of my past. After developing an odd cramp in my right hand, I realized that in a total reverse of how modern gamepads work, or even how I would use an arcade stick when playing using an old school single button joystick, I use my right hand to control movement on the stick, while my left hand just holds the base, while my left thumb presses the only button. Did any of you do this too? I'm now looking at left-handed arcade sticks, as I'm convinced myself I may be better with the stick on my right hand now. Thanks, David from York.
Huh.
Did David say he's
Yeah,
a
it's weird.
left-handed? Yeah.
So you can't. I mean, so some people would take Atari 2600 sticks, and I believe they would just like take them apart and rotate them to get the button on the upper right instead of the upper left, to make it kind of a left-handed stick.
You just turn it up. You don't have to modify anything.
Well, yeah, some people will turn it.
Just
Yeah,
turn it
you-
upside down.
You turn it upside down, or people would try to put their left hand just the top of the thumb on the top of the stick, and then use the right hand for the button, and a bunch of weird claw configuration.
That's
type
weird
stuff. And yeah, there was a lot of things that people tried to do back then to try to convince them that they needed to have like left-handed sticks or whatever. But it is weird to go back to now because of just everything has D-pads on the left, and it totally was a right-handed device for a lot of years.
I feel like most of the Amiga era stuff, you just had your two buttons, but there was just one button. But there was like all the Amiga zip sticks and stuff would always come with a button on the top right and left. So there was, it was the same button, but it was if you were either hand.
Yeah, they eventually started making that sort of stuff. You get your weird little Wiccos and different sticks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I played inverted, so I'm kidding.
That's insane. That's
yeah,
criminal.
I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, whose parents maybe force them to be a righty.
Totally.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that whole
that
thing.
is without a doubt a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm almost sure that my wife's parents did it to her because her handwriting's terrible. Doesn't make any sense. Everything's lefty. So
Shit.
maybe that's part of it. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know. But to change
could
like
be.
that is peculiar. But hey, whatever works.
Yeah, I think you can get used to just about anything. But yeah.
Imagine how like accessibility conscious we are these days, and people being like, "No, you got to play our game with your fucking right hand."
Yeah.
You know, it's like cutting out like 25% of the population or something.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
It wasn't.
look at
Yeah,
the
it was
mouse.
never. Yeah, because it was just like, here's these digital devices. It's not like you don't need analog finesse the same way. But like, I use a mouse with my right hand, and I'm left-handed. And I would not be able to use a mouse with my left hand. Like, I've just developed that level of finesse
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
with my right hand in a way that is fine for that specific action. At the same time, I'm probably better on a thumbstick on a modern controller with my left thumb than I am with my right, which is maybe not great because the right one is where you aim. And that's why a lot of games offer the ability to swap them. But every time I've tried to do that, it's just like, this feels terrible.
Oh.
I can't swap them. Like all the left-handed swap stuff is nonsense.
I have a question for you all as Americans then. Is this why you guys drive on the right side, so the stick would be on the right side, but in Europe we drive on the other side, so you use stick with your left hand? Is that... Wait, no.
Could be.
Then it's more... Is that
Sticks
why...
on the right.
The stick's on the right for you guys?
Yeah.
Yes, on the left for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so no, it's the other way around. Then I was just thinking, like, if it was left-handed, maybe that's why people don't do it, but it's actually bad for Europeans. Yeah, I don't know.
USA!
It's bad for
USA! USA!
All right, and that's all the emails I've got this week. You can send those emails and future emails.
Great job.
Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Ben Pack, and we will communicate.
Shouts out, add me on LinkedIn. Look, same URL as my Twitter. Endorse me for, I don't know, JavaScript.
Jobs and stuff.
You got it. You got all that? Do it. Do it for Ben. What's that number again, Ben?
707 exit flu is the number now and forever, and we certainly have had it all this time ready to go.
Great. Yes. There was never a chance where it was changing, not even for a second. We'll communicate how this next show is going to roll out, but next week is the day. It's going to be a lot of fun. Please join us. And thank you so very much for tuning into this episode of the Giant Bombcast. A lot more fun stuff popping on the site later this week, so stay tuned. Have a wonderful conclusion to the rest of your week. We'll see you next time.